2 U.S. service members killed in Jordan have been identified. A third service member is missing. Also, the military says a service member was killed in Iraq. The British military says a second ship has been attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, this one off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The FBI says a person deployed an incendiary device outside a New York federal building that houses an FBI office and an immigration court. That person is in custody. Robert Sullivan was a witness.
I saw the black smoke. I saw additional sparks flying out. So there was additional fireworks of some sort. And I went around them and got the picture. I saw the black smoke, and I saw the fire as well.
A source tells the AP the individual in custody, whose name has not been released, was carrying anti-ice material. Influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate are appearing before a federal magistrate in Miami for the first time since they were arrested to face rape and sex trafficking charges in the UK. A federal judge is ordering Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery to stop their merger for at least 2 weeks, allowing states challenging the deal more time to see their case through in court. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is lower. This is AP News. There's a change in leadership in Britain.
Andy Burnham's welcomed at 10 Downing Street with traditional applause after becoming Britain's new Prime Minister, succeeding Keir Starmer. By custom, household staff and civil servants line the entrance and clap for a new leader, the first time he walks through the famous Black Door. Burnham also spoke outside 10 Downing Street soon after he'd been formally asked to form a government by King Charles III. Burnham said in his first speech that he promises to deliver a circuit breaker for a system, he says, that's taken wrong turns since the 1980s.
We will make this moment a circuit breaker for Britain, bringing forward the biggest changes in the last 40 years.
In a break with tradition, Burnham ditched using a lectern, speaking in front of 2 microphones outside the Prime Minister's residence. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
I'm Ed Donahue, AP News. AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. President Trump took to social media to warn every time Iran kills an American soldier, going forward, they will pay for that killing many times over. The president offered no further details, but said his directive has been relayed to military leaders. The warning comes after the U.S. launched its 9th night of airstrikes on Iran after announcing the death of another American service member killed in Iraq. The military also identified 2 soldiers who were killed in Jordan. Jason Campbell with the Middle East Institute says Iran is showing what they've got.
They have demonstrated, not just in the Strait, but really across this region, that not only can they still strike, but they still have some of their more damaging tools that they've kept in reserve and are now willing to use them.
Iran targeted Kuwait and Bahrain, home of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. Nolan Wells, an 18-year-old who was found dead after a July 4th boat trip with friends to a Gulf Coast island, is being remembered in Mississippi. Wells, who is black, traveled by boat to the island with his friends who are white. He didn't return with them to the mainland. Christine Wansley is Wells' mother.
Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him. He had a way of making people feel seen, welcome, and valued. He could lift your confidence with just a few words and make you feel like you belong.
Wells' death is still being investigated. A tropical depression is drifting erratically in the Gulf of Mexico and is expected to gradually strengthen into a tropical storm that could threaten several states later in the week. Wall Street is holding steadier in late-day trading as AI stocks trim some of their sharp recent losses. More information at apnews.com. This is AP News. Jury selection has started in Lindsay Clancy's murder trial in Massachusetts.
Clancy pled not guilty to 3 counts of murder in the deaths of her 3 young children in 2023. Prosecutors argue that Clancy used exercise bands to strangle her 3 children in a well-planned assault. She also tried to end her own life. Clancy's attorneys plan to lay out an insanity defense, arguing she was overmedicated and dealing with postpartum issues. Clancy and her husband filed lawsuits earlier this year, accusing her medical providers of failing to properly treat her for a severe postpartum psychiatric condition. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Prosecutors in Britain have charged a 28-year-old man with murder in the death of former politician and reality TV contestant Ann Widdecombe. Joshua Carey was held for more than a week. Police continue to investigate whether the killing had a political or terrorist connection. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Confident Guam, good morning and welcome back. 6:07 in the morning. It is a Wednesday, August 5th, here on the Wave 105 FM. You are tuned in to Mornings with Patti with our guest host this morning. Coming out of the beautiful village of Dedido, we have Melissa Savares. And the show this morning is being brought to you by our friends over at Subway, where you can eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com. It is powered by Good to Go. We deliver at Subway. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Bank Pacific, where others place branches, we place roots. Visit bankpacific.com today. GTA, we start with you. Mobile gas stations turn every fuel stop into rewards with Mobile Smiles. Download the app today for exclusive offers and faster rewards at the pump. Mobile Smiles, fuel up and save. Take Care Insurance Company, our island, your health plan. Triple J Auto Group, it's big deals on big wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first. Shop, dine, and relax at the Agania Shopping Center. Your destination for food, fun, and local favorites all year long. Patch Tinting and Detailing. For all your special interior cleaning, call 483-7522. Code 1 Store is your tactical shop for public safety and everyday gear, serving Guam since 1999. Shop 511 Tactical and Condor Outdoor, plus steel toe footwear. Stop by Code 1 Store today. And Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more live, great food, and memories happen here. You are tuned in to the Wave 105 FM. Our studio lines are at 671-922-1051 or 1052.
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup or delivery. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com is powered by Good to Go. We deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumon or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own vacuum. You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic.
Bun is still at daycare. You said you'd never give in to demands. 2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake. And never put them in harm's way. I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers. But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves. Long line today. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted about driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
Half a day, I'm Callan Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callan Perez and I approve this message.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Stay informed, stay connected. Wave 105, the talk of Guam.
105.1 The Wave is the talk of Guam.
You ready? Who's ready for some of that good love? Count me out!
And you've got it tuned in to Mornings with Patti.
Come on! 1, 2. Good love, that's what I'm drinking.
Bernes and Hafaday, Manana Sizuas. This is Mornings with Patti on the Wave 105.1 FM. This is Melissa Savares. Together with Dice this morning, we'll be having our conversations and just wanting to hear what you have to say, your thoughts. If you have anything that you want to talk about, please give us a call this morning at 922-1051 or 1052. It's the weather it's overcast today.
Yes, ma'am.
So, just be careful if you're out there on the roads heading to work. Please be careful. The roads are kind of slick. So let's, drive defensively, right? And carefully get to our destination safely. Take your time. The weather has really, I think there's a depression somewhere quite a distance away. hopefully.
Dolphin.
Yes, yes. And, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said that their flight coming back to Guam, it was delayed because of the storm. They had to kind of wait for it to turn the other way, and so there was a delay. Of them coming back. I think it was their flight from, I don't remember where they were coming from, but they were coming through Hano, and there was a delay. So, we're just wanting to make sure. I mean, it's better that it's out there and not here, right, in our region.
For sure. We need a break. We need a break.
We do need a break,
We need a
definitely.
break.
People are still recovering, right?
ma'am. We could
And
use a break.
especially with our brothers and sisters in the CNMI. I know that in Rhoda, Saipan, they're not completely 100% up with their power, but they're getting there.
We're getting there, as well as Rhoda.
Yeah, and the same was Rhoda. And that's Tinian, too, because
on.
Tinian and Saipan were affected during Sinlaku. And definitely Rhoda was hit directly by Bavi. So, we're just making sure that, everybody's getting back, back to school time.
Yes.
I've seen, driven around the island a couple of times within the last week or so, and I see a lot of areas, especially the areas around bus stops, kids walking to school. Those have been cleaned up. Kudos to the different volunteers and the mayor's offices throughout the island for sprucing up and making sure that the routes for children to walk to and from school or to and from bus stops are clear of any debris. And I noticed that the volunteers who have adopted bus stops have also been cleaning up those areas where the children will be taking shelter. Thankfully, this school year, there will be no double session at JFK.
Okay.
So Simon Sanchez will be going to share a campus up in Tizen with Tizen High School. They will be on the same campus, but in different sections of the campus. So, we want to congratulate GDOE for, coming up with a plan so that we, the students can now come back to a normal schedule for this upcoming school year. Orientations have been ongoing. I've seen the schedules of orientations and
we
families.
got the high school's out the way. High school
high
and
school.
middle school is clear. Now we're working on
elementary, right?
levels,
Elementary with the kindergarten and new students, right? Is where they're having their orientations.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I know JFK was on Monday,
That's right.
as well as some other schools, and so middle schools are also out of the way, like
Middle
you said.
school orientation has been
So
cleared.
families are excited. Last week I took my grandson he's going to be a freshman in high school.
Nice.
So I took him to get his uniform at Gino's.
Okay.
And there was lots of families in there, between these uniform shops,
A
right?
lot can happen over the summer. A little weight
Royal
gain,
Bix
a little
and
losing.
Gino's, right?
Yeah.
Have been the place for families to hang out, and I'm glad that they're getting it early, right?
Yes.
So families have been really preparing, not just the week before school starts or the week that school is starting. They've been out there. School supplies.
Yes.
Of course, school supplies, they try to get the basic supplies, but then sometimes, the schools have
That master
additional,
list?
the master list,
right,
correct.
right.
And so, which is great for parents, and they're not feeling the financial brunt of what they need to get all at one time. So those lists actually come out during the summer. So every, on paydays or whenever they're out at the stores is when they sporadically get the supplies that they need. So congratulations to the families. There are some schools that that are still probably in need of school uniforms. So if your child has outgrown and there is nobody at home that will be a recipient of those uniforms, then, it's always wise to bring uniforms back to the schools, right? Because there are some families that may not be able to afford the entire sets. And I remember, just getting like 3 sets because, we do laundry often, right? So, and then some families, would have multiple children. So when we return uniforms, it kind of helps, and it's recycling, right? Upcycling, because we're allowing others who maybe don't have the means to get the uniforms all right away, or even if you return it back to the schools. What happens is sometimes you have accidents in school, right?
True.
Child maybe slips or and gets wet or got caught in the rain, and they came to school in their uniform, but they're soaked, right? So in the nurse's office or the counseling office, they usually have backup uniforms just in case for those purposes, right? So there's just so much to prepare for. I haven't seen the bus schedule yet, but that usually comes out as well. Usually it's online, available online. So, if you have like print media, I know the Post sometimes, has that available. But all the mayor's offices usually get the bus schedule as well, and the schools do too. So, if you're not sure if your child is riding the bus on the first day or for the school year, check your bus schedule, because it'll even tell you what time the buses are coming to pick them up in the mornings. I look at the high schools, and when they start at 6:45, they're at the bus stop at 5:30, and so of course we want to make sure that areas around bus stops are lit as well. So the mayor's offices work closely with Guam Power Authority, GPA, to assess those things. And the lighting, the priorities are the lightings around school, around and at the school bus stops, and along the route of children walking to and from school as well. Not all areas have sidewalks, but usually neighbors are really good about keeping the areas in front of them clear around school zones.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we want to make sure that children are getting to and from their destinations, from their homes, safely, right? So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. Some kids, especially the younger ones, they're nervous if they haven't gone to, a congregated setting, right? Like daycare or child care center, or even Head Start. Even Head Start students get, even if they were there the year before. When they're going to go to kindergarten, that's a big step for them, right?
That's right. That is right.
So I'm excited for the children,
Very
but but let's all be excited together and make sure that our children get to and from their school areas, from their homes. And DOE has a door-to-door policy, from their door to your door.
Got you.
They want to make sure that the students are safely home, and should they not come home when they're supposed to, please give the school a call or find out. I always say have a buddy, right? If they have neighbors that go to school at the same place, while walking to the bus stop, they walk together, walking back home. So that's usually have that buddy system for safety reasons too, right? Many parents on the first day do take their children to school, especially the younger ones. I was talking to a few high school kids, and I said, "So are your parents going to take you the first day?" They said, "No, we don't do that anymore." They said they're going to orientation, and then they'll find out what they need to do, and then they'll get on the bus on the first day. So, that's always a great thing, right? I said, "You mean your parents are going to walk you to the class?" No,
No, they're big kids now.
Yeah.
They're big kids now.
No, we're going to walk them back to the car. That kind of stuff, right? Yeah, so I'm excited. Are your nieces back in school yet?
They will be soon. We're still getting that list together, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Every single morning they ask if there's school today. So when school
That's
begins,
good.
I certainly hope they have that same energy when it's time for school, because throughout the entire summer, for some strange reason, kids are up at 7 a.m. It's like, why are you guys awake at summertime? What are we doing?
Right.
And then when school starts, they forget how to wake up.
Do I have to?
Yes, that part.
Is it time now?
Time now, yes.
Oh.
And then you get the random stomach aches. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you had a stomach ache yesterday and today, 2 days. Wow, 2 days.
Yeah.
So kids are a lot. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, and then as they get older. I remember my youngest son, he was, at school by himself because everybody else had graduated already. And I said, you know what, I'm going to move you to a school closer. He goes, no. And I said, then you better do good in school or else I'm moving you,
Right. I think the doctors and the nurses have been really good with the immunization shots.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen, I've been looking at the kids getting shots lately, and, I'm not seeing the screaming as much as I normally would. So I think the doctors and the nurses they got some kind of trick that you're doing with the kids.
Oh, yeah, they distract them, right?
Distract them.
They
Yeah,
distract
they got
them,
little tricks.
talk to them, yeah.
And before you know it, boom, they're done, and they're putting the Band-Aid on. It's like, oh, wow, it's done. It's over. You're like, yeah, you did it. So it's always fun. So, yeah, we want to make sure everyone's getting your shots, guys. Make sure that you guys get your shots, all the back-to-school immunizations. So.
Absolutely. And,
What's up?
there's been so many outreaches.
For sure,
I just saw that, last week they did the Lions Club. Did something at Sinahanya Community Center.
It. I love that.
So, and they get the families come in there and get their physicals, right? The community health centers have been having in-reaches at both the southern and the northern health centers. Total Guam's been out there.
I've seen them as well.
They had a passport to service last week for the those that are homeless, but anybody could have gone to those passports.
Absolutely.
Passport, and it was in the park in Derrida. So I saw that everybody was out there with their different tables. Nurses were out there to do assessments, and if anybody needed their immunization, their vaccines, they could have gotten it in those places. And the good thing is that there's medical providers out there that can fill out these forms, right, when they do the physicals. So that's those opportunities. Opportunities for our people are overwhelming, right? The mall, Micronesia Mall, also had Center Court a few weeks ago, where they had medical outreaches as well. Got more information if they needed to, further a visit.
That's right.
Right,
That's
or
right.
two.
That's right.
So they were given information to where to go for different types of services.
And also back to school drives. There's been a lot of donations for back to school.
Absolutely.
I've been seeing a lot of that too, so
yes.
that's great.
Yeah, and they said we talked about the uniform where you can donate, and so they had a drive also for uniforms for the foster children,
That's
right?
great. That's great.
Yeah, foster children,
Sanctuary kids.
sanctuary,
right? Our sanctuary
correct.
kids.
So
yes, that's wonderful.
those are great things, and I know that GDOE with their social work program, their outreach program, also did outreach for the families and had uniforms and other clothing, shoes. They had a shoe drive several times for students who may need shoes.
For sure.
So those are great things that and the community really comes together.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they do a great job.
And as well as the businesses.
For sure.
Because businesses have overstock on certain things.
Right.
And so what they did is they do is
pouring out their donations.
correct. Their donations just come on in for these types of programs.
That's right.
So our community, they're so giving.
They are.
We always say everybody's having a hard time, but despite the hard time, they still, even if it's a little comes a long way, right? Yes. So, are we at the bottom of the hour
Yes,
to
ma'am.
take a quick one?
That's right.
And then we'll come back at the other side.
Ma'am.
Thank
Here we
you.
go.
Hafaday Guam! The Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association invites you to the Fair Trade Show, Guam's premier hospitality and food service event. Join us August 19th and 20th at the Hyatt Regency Guam from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Experience hands-on training sessions and exciting culinary competitions featuring professionals, apprentices, and pastry talent. Discover new products, connect with suppliers, and celebrate Guam's hospitality industry. Don't miss Fair 2026. Visit GHRA.org for details.
Half a day, everyone. Good morning, Guam, and welcome back. We're going to go ahead and hit the streets right now. This will be your first look at your traffic report this morning, and it is being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot, where you could schedule a test drive by calling 478-AUTO, or if you'd like to take a look at our inventory, you may also visit our website. All you got to do is head to GuamAutospot.com. All right, friends, let's see what we got brewing on the streets, Guam. Indeed, it is back-to-school orientation, so the school zones, you may find an even flow of traffic getting around the school zones this morning. However, that does begin around the 10 o'clock hour this morning. Currently getting around the Anderson Air Force Base, we do have some north as well as southbound traffic flowing in and out of Anderson Air Force Base. Dedido's looking really nice. Great job, Dedido. East Sangsong Road, coming around Finagay and Estumbo or Ukidu, that will be done with ease this morning. A little delay around the Micronesia Mall, most especially at the Jolly Bee intersection. We got some wait time there. Kmart intersection is beginning to build up, as well as Village of Donkey and ITC. But again, Guam, traffic is quite light this morning. It looks like Route 8 is nice and clear. Route 16 as well as Route 10, we got no delays there. The southern area of the island, we're looking at Route 4. That's going to be stemming around areas like Zotnya, Malolo, getting around that back end, or coming around areas like Inalahan. That's going to be easy for you this morning. We would like to remind everyone just to watch your speed limit this morning. Let's keep our eyes on the roads, not on the phones. Allow some braking distance. We do have scattered showers and thunderstorms today, so please, Guam, watch your speed limit and allow some braking distance between yourselves and the vehicle in front of you. Get our seatbelts fastened and our kids in the proper booster and car seats. It's your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot.
Half a day, I'm Callan Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callan Perez and I approve this message.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumon or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup or delivery. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com is powered by Good to Go. We deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face, and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwooderfoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted while driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure, like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
We're looking beneath our feet today to uncover the surprising, shimmering engineering that built the foundation of America's historic coastal cities. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for August 5th.
Long before the modern invention of industrial asphalt, the world's favorite shelled delicacy served as the foundational bedrock for early American infrastructure. During the 19th century, booming coastal hubs like Baltimore and New Orleans consumed millions of fresh oysters daily, generating massive mountainous piles of discarded shells. Instead of throwing them away, clever urban engineers crushed the heavy calcified armor into a cheap, durable aggregate to pave their public streets and sidewalks, transforming muddy waterfront alleyways into bright, white, shimmering street grids. The legendary seafood we enjoy on National Oyster Day literally paved America.
This is great. I mean, really.
I can see the city engineers going, come on, people, eat more oysters.
Right.
We need to pave our roads.
Yeah, but what a great use for those shells.
It's a great thing. It's funny that we still don't do this today.
And obviously those last a lot longer than what we're doing now.
That's probably true. Every year, construction season.
Yeah. We are also celebrating National Underwear Day and National Work Like a Dog Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Arlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks, world-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Registering a domain name on the web? You should know about Pairnick. Pairnick offers .com names at a great price with quality service you expect. Because Pairnick is powered by internet leader Pair Networks. Whether you need a domain name for business or personal use, Pairnick is your best choice. Remember Pairnick when you need a domain name. That's PAIRNIC.com. Pairnick.
From breaking news to bright ideas, Wave 105 is where Guam speaks.
Buenas and half a day, and welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, August 5th. And So, I was listening. I was just looking at the PDN as well.
Okay.
The Guam Trades Academy, the
Okay.
GCA, Guam Contractors Association Trades
Gotcha.
Academy,
Okay.
has, graduated just another 23 students
Fantastic.
who are now ready for the workforce. And, I was looking at the different trades.
Okay.
I remember Trades Academy has been in existence for over 20 years now. And, they've produced many of our individuals who have gotten the skills, received the skills from their program, these programs, and it was developed. I remember Bert Johnston and his team, construction worker, contractors, right? Who said we have the need for different skills, but we don't have the individuals who have the skills. So they created the academic program, and for a wide variety of different trades. And so they include electrical, plumbing, carpentry,
Right on.
HVAC, construction craft laborer, safety,
All right.
project managers,
Project manager.
welding, and heavy equipment operation.
Fantastic.
So I remember when they first started, they would bring these equipments in.
Okay.
And it's, you sit in a room and you're learning how to use like a backhoe or a payloader or excavator, right? And you're learning it in a simulation capsule, right? So you go into this thing and, after reading and getting the lectures, right, on how to operate these equipments safely, then you go into a simulator machine. And that's where you practice. That's for the heavy equipment. Now for the plumbing and electrical, they help you with the tools that you need.
Okay.
And then they actually teach you, So these are construction managers or people that come in, and usually the classes are like late in the afternoon through the evening, right? Because the instructors are actually coming from construction sites, right?
Okay.
And
All right.
so what happens is they come from their work sites, and then they teach the lessons and the classes. And after weeks, sometimes even months of lessons in the classroom, a lot of hands-on job training happens for these different trades. And with that, once they become apprentices in some cases, once they become skilled, then they go into the workforce. And so that builds up, and they're not just coming in at entry level, right? They're coming in, they also train safety officers, right? And so safety is critical in this. And so of all the proper way to use tools and equipment. And then, they go out into the workforce and become contributing members of their families as well, right? Rather than just going in there and as a laborer, you actually get the skills. Electrical and plumbing are really skills that are needed all over. I hear a lot of people, and, I hear on social media that somebody's looking for a certified electrician, right? Especially like after a storm, right? And your weatherhead is damaged.
High demand.
Yeah.
Very high demand,
Yeah.
yes.
You can't get cleared by Department of Public Works, the inspector, until a certified electrician actually comes in and checks all your electrical wiring and make sure that there's not going to be any cause of fire in your home, that everything is safety,
Yes,
right? And so once you get that certification, then you take it to Public Works and GPA, and they'll stamp off on it, and because a certified electrician signed off on it, and your house is going to be safe. So that the demand is high for those that trade. Plumbing,
Hey, there we go.
Plumbers are needed everywhere. I mean,
Every day.
My friend had a leaking faucet in her shower,
That's right.
and to try to call a plumbing company, it could take days before somebody can come. But if you have a neighbor that's certified in plumbing, they come over with their little toolbox.
Yes, they do.
And then just
they get to work.
rigor, rig something up or put a
That's
new
right.
washer in there, right? and then your leak is fixed.
Back
So
to new.
little things, caps. They
Yes.
cap off a pipe that's no longer needed, so that your water's not just flowing. Those are things that plumbers
We need a lot
do.
of those.
Yeah, clogs in the drains.
All the
I
time.
remember way a couple of years ago, when my dad was still around, he says, you know what, we need a clean out drain at each of the the drainages of the kitchen drain the laundry room has a clean out drain, so that when you're not having to take 100-foot snake
For sure.
and just keep running it, you clean out every section, right?
That's right.
And then you'll if it goes through, then you're good. Just go to the next one, right? And so those little things, right, we take for granted.
We do.
But
We do.
when you have a neighbor or a friend that was trained the proper way, and who was also out there, doing their work and providing services, it makes it a little easier. So Guam GCA Trades
Oh, for sure.
Academy
For sure.
really produces great talent out there, and they're out there in our workforce. And actually, that was started when
Grateful.
the military buildup started. The discussions on the buildup is that we didn't have enough skilled workers here, and that's when GCA, Guam Contractors Association, together with the construction community, as well as the Guam Community College, came together and put this program together, their academic curriculum for each of these skills, and then started recruiting. This goes the same way with the boot camps that Guam Community College has. We try to do a fast course, but at the same time, you're not shortcutting any skills or necessary curriculum. That everything is all just bunched up, and rather than taking a semester, it's a camp or a program that will focus on the math, the reading. So you still need to have those skills,
Yes, you
right?
need that.
Measurements, you still need those skills, but we're not doing other stuff that are not necessary for this for these programs. So it's compacted academically, as well as the hands-on job training for the participants.
I love that.
And GCA Trades Academy has produced many over the last 20 years, and I was just looking at individuals that have been there from the very beginning and are still there today to provide services to the community, the Trades Academy, and the students, the participants that come and take advantage of the different programs that they have at their facility in Tizen. I remember they started in a small warehouse with just a few things and a few classroom spaces. Now they're in a facility in Tizen where different classes can go on at the same time, and as well as a different hands-on experience. And the same way, in the States, they have these same type of concepts for different skills that are really needed. During COVID, a lot of our bus drivers, our tour bus drivers, did not, we didn't have tourists, so the busing companies were not in operation. So these individuals who were skilled in driving, we had other, like Guam Mass Transit needed bus drivers. Guam Department of Public Works needed drivers. So what they did is they just transitioned them, and but at the same time they're making sure that if you needed help, tutorial services to renew your maybe chauffeur's license, right? They would help with the GCA or GCC would help retrain individuals who were interested in furthering their training for these types of skills. Truck drivers were also needed, right? So, these are. There were boot camps for truck drivers. I remember that the down at the shipyard, not the shipyard, but the Cabras Marine needed welders.
Down there at the port,
So they had a welding boot camp, right? GPA needed more. What do you call that? Apprentices, right? So they went through these assessments and worked with GCA and GCC to seek individuals who are interested in electrical, learning about electricians, how to become electricians, and that's a start, right? So that once we get them skilled, then they're out there, and a lot of them, one of the programs, they had to be either on public assistance in order to qualify. They had to be on public assistance, or if they were working, their pay needed to be lower the threshold, so for their household size, right? So those were the individuals who initially qualified for these first few programs, so that we're bringing people who were interested in being skilled. And when you're interested and you learn the skills, then you can provide, get a job that can help you provide for your family, right? So we were seeing individuals who high school dropouts, right? They were able to get their GED or adult high school diploma, and then go into these programs after when they were completed. And now they're providing for their families. They're no longer on the assistance program that they were on many years ago with their families, and they're making lots of money, by working at these different companies, not just construction, but as truck drivers, bus drivers, welders, right? And then on the ship, when the Cabras Marine, because that was a partner for the boot camps, it's not just welding, right? They also had to learn electrical. They had to learn plumbing.
Had to get it all
Yeah,
done.
had to go do all these other things collectively. HVAC. HVAC's a big thing too, because, people have air conditioners that just need to get serviced. And if they don't call the big company, sometimes it's just Joe Cruz down the street that's an HVAC tech, and he does have a license. So he does all our neighborhood HVAC, cleaning, right? Anything more than that, of course, he refers it out because he does have a regular job, right? And so, but, it's neighbors helping neighbors, right? But at the same time, they're making a difference for their families, but at the same time making a difference for themselves, because now they're skilled. And the opportunities for them to grow are even a lot more, right? Especially in our small island community.
That's true.
So we see individuals who have started at the Trades Academy and have moved up in rank because of their skills and that they get. And so it's an exciting time. Every time I see that there is an accomplishment or completion of a program with the Guam Trades Academy, it's always very rewarding because we look at the different things that we have, the different opportunities that we have, and not to mention, there's opportunities everywhere. If you're a retiree or and want to share your talents, if there's a shortage somewhere, and I know teachers do this a lot, right? They double dip, and the same thing with nurses, right? But some schools are still the private schools are. I met a few teachers from private schools last week, and they said we still need a math teacher and we need a science teacher, right? And so I'm saying, well, check DOE because they have they're consolidating schools, right?
Very true.
And some schools have more teachers, but I'm sure that they're shifting people around,
indeed,
right? from the schools with the smaller enrollments. Those teachers are moving into areas where they're needed, especially for the secondary level, middle school and high school level, right? Because they teach only one particular subject area, right? But with elementary, those teachers teach all subject areas, right?
They cover it all.
They're very
They
talented.
do.
They're like a juggler, right?
They got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the skill level for elementary teachers, are a wide range of different things. So, this is exciting because, learning goes on all the time. During the summer, there was learning because there were different programs, not just in the villages, but also through the University of Guam, the Department of Youth Affairs. So they had different programs all over the island. Private sectors also had programs where the students were able to engage, and a lot of outdoor activities as well. We were thrown a curveball with Typhoon Bobby, but at the same time, we get up, dust our knees, and then move on, right? We'll continue. And I've always been a believer, like, you have to get up, right? And don't lay around and wait for things to happen. Get up and make things happen, right?
Proactive. We got to
Yeah.
be proactive.
So, and that's the same way. Teachers are excited. They've spruced up their classrooms and are excited about the kids coming back, students coming back. So, parents are more excited because the kids get back out of the house, right? And so, I don't know about how you are with your nieces,
Oh, yes,
but
ma'am.
devices are very limited, right?
Yes, ma'am,
Some families, only limit 1 hour of use of device
That's right.
throughout the day. And the rest of the time is hands-on
what we do.
activities, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm excited because the students will be out there. They'll be interacting. Socializing is a big thing for them as well, and getting out into the playground, right? To play with your classmates, and then just different things. I pass the schools. Everything's being, the classrooms. Librarians are also sprucing up their libraries for reading programs. So those are always exciting time. But the thing is, they don't just spruce up during the first week, right? It happens once the students are there. All the work of the students are also part of these activities and the pride that goes on within each of the school campuses. So, I'm happy that the schools will all be in session. We're looking forward to everybody starting next week, Monday, all at the same time. And so, with that, we're at the top of the hour, and we'll go ahead and take that break for news and traffic, and then we'll come back. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you. We are KGUM FM. This is the Wave 105.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. The Senate Judiciary Committee voted to move along the nomination of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to be Attorney General. 2 Republican senators say they got assurances from Blanche President Trump's anti-weaponization fund idea is dead. Texas's John Cornyn was one of those holdouts. He says the Justice Department needs stability.
President Trump needs someone in this role as well with a strong legal mind, but who also is close enough to him to give him confidential legal advice to tell him hard truths.
California Democrat Adam Schiff says it's hard to get past that Todd Blanche is President Trump's personal attorney.
He does not represent the American people now. He will never represent the American people. He will never do what's best for the American people. He will only do what's best for Donald Trump. And you cannot leave someone like that as the nation's #1 law enforcement official, not when you have a corrupt president engaged in the most unprecedented, self-enriching schemes we have ever seen.
On social media, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israeli forces will not withdraw from their current lines in Gaza until Hamas is completely disarmed. He also suggested there were differences between Israel and the Trump administration over a recent deal announced to disarm Hamas. Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller says he's filing paperwork to launch a House investigation into domestic abuse allegations made against him by his ex-wife. The former aide to President Trump says he wants to clear his name and has nothing to hide. A man who went to prison for manslaughter in his father's 2010 killing in Arizona has been charged in Spokane, Washington, with intentionally setting the largest of the wildfires burning there. Big gains in late-day trading on Wall Street. This is AP News. Ebola is still spreading in Congo.
Ebola has killed over 1,700 people in eastern Congo, marking the fastest growing outbreak of the disease. Over 3,800 cases have been recorded. The outbreak has led to challenges like mistrust, violence, and unpaid healthcare workers. Africa's CDC Director General has warned that nearly 80% of the new cases are from community spread, not contact tracing, and is linked to a variation of the virus for which there are no currently approved vaccines. Although there are clinical trials being conducted, the outbreak is spreading faster than health officials can track, with patient zero still unidentified. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A new report says President Trump's proposed 250-foot triumphal arch could disrupt the historical significance of many sites near its planned location. It would be located near the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Introducing the all-new Subway Wraps. Now you can make any footlong a wrap. Light, delicious, and satisfying without weighing you down. Subway Wraps make fueling your day easier than ever with bold flavors and fresh ingredients. Try the cheesy garlic steak wrap today. Subway. Eat fresh, feel good.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Hafide Guam. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Mornings with Patti on the Wave 105 FM with our guest host this morning. She is coming out of the village of Dedido. We have Melissa Savares. Our studio lines are at 671-922-1051 or 1052. And the show this morning is being brought to you by our friends at Subway, where you can eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at subwaypacific.com. It is powered by Good to Go. We deliver at Subway. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Bank Pacific, where others place branches, we place roots. Visit bankpacific.com today. GTA, we start with you. Mobile gas stations turn every fuel stop into rewards with Mobile Smiles. Download the app today for exclusive offers and faster rewards at the pump. Mobile Smiles, fuel up and save. Take Care Insurance Company, our island, your health plan. It's big deals on big wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today, customers first. Shop, dine, and relax at the Agana Shopping Center, your destination for food, fun, and local favorites all year long. Patch Tinting and Detailing for all your special interior cleaning. Call 483-7522. Code 1 Store is your tactical shop for public safety and everyday gear, serving Guam since 1999. Shop 511 Tactical and Condor Outdoor, plus steel toe footwear. Stop by Code 1 Store today. And Chili's Grill and Bar at Chili's. More life, great food, and memories happen here.
Tempo
Indeed, Guam. Good morning and Hoppity. Welcome back. 7:06 on a Wednesday, August 5th, here on the Wave 105 FM. This is Mornings with Patti with our guest host this morning. Coming out of Dedido, we have Melissa Savares. We're going to go ahead and hit the streets right now for your second look at your traffic report. It is being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot, where you could schedule a test drive by calling 478-AUTO. Or if you'd like to check out our inventory, you may also visit our website if you head to GuamAutospot.com. Coming around Malesu in Alahan, Malolo, Talafofu this morning. That's going to be along Route 4. It looks like traffic is moving nicely, as well as our friends getting up and around Jotnya and Chalanpago this morning. Traffic is beginning to build up for our friends along Route 10. That's going to be in Mangilao this morning. Trying to get up and around Barragata. We got some additional delays. That's going to be around the Crown Bakery intersection, around 76 Circle K, as well as Happy Mart in Barragata. We got ourselves a little delay there. Route 16 traffic is moving nicely, flowing all the way down into Harmon, coming around St. Paul Christian School or around that Dedido Sports Complex. It looks like traffic is moving nicely on that back end, as well as our friends up and around Dedido is light this morning until you hit around the Micronesia Mall, around that Jollibee intersection. You can expect some wait time. Upper as well as lower Tumon traffic is still light this morning. We just want to remind everyone to please watch your speed limit. Let's allow braking distance between ourselves and the vehicle in front of us. We have scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning, as well as back to school orientation. So again, folks, seatbelts are sexy. Let's get our seatbelts fastened and our kids in the proper booster and car seats. It's your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM, and it's all being brought to you by our friends at Guam Auto Spot.
Half a day, I'm Callan Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callan Perez and I approve this message.
Explore, snap, and share for a chance to win a round-trip ticket to Taiwan. Join the Guam Photo Hunt and visit iconic landmarks and hidden gems island-wide. The more locations you photograph, the more chances you have to win exciting prizes. Learn more and submit to win online at visitguam.com/photo hunt. Terms and conditions apply. Explore, snap, and rediscover Guam. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau.
Member FDIC.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Pat's also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and base-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Real conversations, real issues, real Guam. This is Wave 105, the talk of Guam.
Welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. This is Mornings with Patti, and I am Melissa Savares, filling in for Patti this morning. And it's a beautiful day, despite it being overcast.
Yes, ma'am.
Just want to remind everyone to drive safely out there. We want to make sure that you get to your destination in one piece, and and it's better to be late than to be rushing and then you get into an accident, right? So we were talking earlier about the Trades Academy, but in today's daily post, the Department of Labor also has a great apprenticeship program. They've just graduated 2 new apprentices, and this program, works side by side with H2 workers.
Okay.
Where the apprentices get trained with the workers as they're working side by side, and eventually they become their colleagues later on, right? So even with the the threat of the H2s being sent back, right? Of course, Guam is working closely with Guam and CNMI are working closely with Congress and Homeland Security to expand a visa waiver for the Philippines. I mean, that would be great, right? Because we've had a visa waiver with Russia in the past. We have a visa waiver with China, mainland China. And so, the Philippines has always been on the table, but has never been approved. And, many families, especially here on Guam, have Filipino descent, right? And want to have their families come and visit them here if there was a visa waiver program, right? And, not that they're going to overstay, not that, we want to make sure that we follow the rules, right? Follow all the rules with the visas, visa waiver program has. As a public official, we've had sister city relationships with our mayors and officials in the Philippines and in Korea. And through those programs, especially in the Philippines, if we have an event here and we send an invitation to them to come and participate in our event, they go and apply for a entry visa through the United U.S. The immigration office over there, and so they have interviews, and of course, some are given a 10-year visa, entry visa. Some are only given a one-time visa. So. The visa waivers are, if this visa waiver goes through, what happens is, they can have these multiple entries without having to apply. And so that's, the relationships that we have with officials from other countries is they also come here, and when they come to Guam, or even the CNMI, they're able to bring, their families with them. If they're each individual has to apply through the program through the U.S. Embassy for a entry visa, and so what happens is when those things happen, they're able to each family member, or an official, maybe a counselor, or a staff would have to apply on their own as well. But they use the letter that we have, that our invitation for them to come to participate in our events. So so at this time during this hour we have I have Maria Pangilinan from the Guam Election Commission. I wanted to talk to her this morning about how great they did with this election this past weekend, as well as the early voting at the Westin. Good morning, Maria. Manana Sizuas.
Manana Melissa Savares.
Maria, I just want to give kudos and a congratulations to you and your team on the process of early voting. That went really well. You had over 5,000 voters that came in during early voting at the Westin. Is that correct? Over 5,000?
Yes. I think 5,193 to be exact.
That's really great. Is that more than what we had the previous 2 years ago?
No. I think it's best compared to 2022.
Okay.
Another gubernatorial.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, in 2022, just a little over 100 showed up more. There were over 100 more early voters in 2022 than 2026.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we had more that came in the previous gubernatorial race, right? Election than we did this last during this primary, right?
Yes, and when the staff and I were talking about it, it could be that they wanted to show up at early voting
site,
because COVID was just over.
Right. That could have been it, right? Because that was that was at the tail end of COVID.
Yes. Yes, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and so that was I thought it was you had a good turnout with even that 5,100 voters, right? That did show up, and then I just want to say that the results. When the tabulation machines went on, the first 18 precincts that came out on the first tally, the first results that were released, I was looking at the people at the tables, right, that were consolidating all their packets. The tables were full during that first view when the cameras ran through there. And then the next time they were empty, right? So I said, your people are moving. And you know what? That had a lot to do with the training that you provide, that the Guam Election Commission provided to your precinct officials. I know that you had training sessions where each precinct official for that particular precinct went through a class training together, all 4 or 5 of them in that precinct went through that class, and then they packed the box, right? And then, they took a test, right? So I think that training that you did with your team really helped this process at the end of the night. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, Melissa, but I think what we want to mention too is we started a class at the University of Guam called Elections Administration within the Public Administration program, and it's an upper division course that the public administration majors can use towards their degree. With the other programs, with the other academic programs, our students can use it as an elective, as an upper division elective. So I believe that we've trained, I want to say over 50 or maybe even closer to 75 in that class, where there were 45 contact hours to include actually working the election.
Oh, wow. So those students also worked the election? I didn't realize that.
Yes, and there were quite a few teachers.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome.
Yes, and so, Melissa, can I do a shout out?
Of course. That's why we call you.
We are offering the class for the fall, this semester. It's called PA 308, and it's being offered Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 to 6:50, and the Guam Election Commission will pick up the tab for the tuition.
Oh, really?
Yes, and then they will work the general election. That would be part of the class. It would be like a practicum.
Yeah. Wow. So those, because you have poll workers that worked, precinct officials that worked the primary. Most of the time, these same precinct officials work the general. But because the general is a working day, would not everybody come back for the general?
That's right.
Okay.
We lose quite a few.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes. So hence we make a big push for the general because it's on a Tuesday, not a Saturday.
Right. Okay. And so, a question that came up to us over the weekend was an individual said, I want to work as a precinct official, but I know that if they're immediate family members, they cannot work in the general. How immediate? I know spouses, mother, father, children, siblings, right, are not allowed.
Yeah. First degree, grandchildren too, and in-laws.
Okay, so what about an auntie or an uncle of
they could work.
The auntie or uncle could work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So aunties and uncles can, but not spouses, parents, siblings, and children and grandchildren.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so that's good to know. So part of this TA 308, which would be at the University of Guam, Tuesdays and Thursdays for this semester, from 5:30 to 6:50. So students that register in that for that particular class, and that's part of the public administration cohort, right?
Yes.
Okay. And students can also take it as an elective, you said?
Yes, across the campus, in an English major,
right?
Potentially an ag major, right. A business major can take it as an elective.
Okay, and that's just offered this particular semester. Of course, is it only offered during election semesters?
During even years when we hold the elections. So we offer it fall, and we offer it spring. And if there's enough students, we can offer it in the summer and also in the fall. But this is potentially the last class where we can pick up where we can pay for the tuition. We received a little grant from the U.S. Election Assistance Commission that gave us the opportunity to put the class together and to host the class.
Okay, so if they enroll in the class just for this class, TA 308, their tuition will be paid by GEC.
That's correct.
Just for TA 308. Okay, that's fair, right?
And tuition is now at $600 some for the 3 credits.
Okay.
And on top of that, Melissa, they get $500 for working the election.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a long day because they start at 5 a.m. But if they're smart and they do everything that they learn in the class, in the training, they'll get out before midnight, right?
Yes, and kudos to our Jack Martinez-Uggan, who handles our website with Roy Park. We also have precinct official training videos on our website.
Oh, so they can actually, before they come to the class, they can go through the video.
Yes,
right?
And our precinct official handbook is on the website as well.
See, so that's easy peasy for them, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. And so all the precinct officials that worked this past weekend will get their check next week, right?
We're working hard. We're working hard to get that. In fact, most of us are focused on doing that. Some of us are focused on receiving candidate packets. Today is the last day for the nonpartisan candidates to file their packets, for the Attorney General, for the Guam Education Board, and for Consolidated Commission on Utilities.
Okay. And do we have many? I know that we've seen the candidates. There's at least 5 of them for Attorney General, right?
Only 4 have filed.
Only 4 have filed, okay. And
Okay.
then Education Board, how many seats are open for Education Board?
6. And I believe...
All 6 are open? Oh, wow.
Yes, and 3 have filed.
Okay. All right.
And CCU, there's 3 seats, and 1 has filed.
Okay, so those are open. So, but today is the last day to submit their packets, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the CCU, the Attorney General, for the CCU and the Attorney General, they don't need signatures.
Okay.
For the GEB, the Guam Education Board, they need 150.
150 signatures. Okay. Well, that's great. And so that's 6 seats for GEB, right?
Yes.
3 seats for CCU, and of course AGs, whoever wants to run, right?
Correct.
But it's only 1 seat for AGs, so there's 4 so far filed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And all that information is on our website.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. But, once I saw that, because I was watching through the night, and you saw all the tables filled, and then less than 30 minutes later, I saw people, I don't know if it's your staff or the UOG team that were putting the tables and chairs away. I said, wow, it's empty. That means everybody's ballot's already in and they're over at the tabulating machines, right?
That's correct. That's the GEC team, the Familian Geck team.
Okay.
That was putting the tables
and
and
chairs.
Our University of Guam partners help us too.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of them from UOG, and the rest were our staff.
Yeah. But, I just want to say how amazing. Usually we're waiting till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I think it was by 1 o'clock. You only released twice, the numbers twice. The first time with 18 precincts counted out of 59. And then the next reading that came out from KUAM was, here, this is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, and then, I'm so used to, over the years, we get the breakdown by village, right? But when I saw that one of the precincts from Dedido came in, like within the first hour, I said, whoa, that's quick for a precinct. And, my concern was, well, not that precinct didn't have too many voters come in, right? But,
so, Melissa,
yes.
the results, as soon as we give it, so the results go to the commissioners first
right.
to look it over and make sure everything's okay. Then we give it to the media and all our partners that are there with their badges. As soon as we give it to the media, the results go up on our website.
Right. Yeah.
And our voter and our precinct by precinct breakdown for the results was up on our website at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's correct, because you know what, Maria? I went onto the website at 8 o'clock in the morning, and all the precinct breakdowns were there, and I said, whoa, I was really, really impressed. But, that's a lot of hard work and efforts from you and your team, and your commissioners, of course, really, because you can't let that out unless the commissioners review that, right?
Yes, that's correct. And those commissioners are volunteers. They work during the day. They go visit the polling site.
They did,
and then and then they rest a little bit, but then they come in for our meeting at the end of the night. Or we were supposed to. Our meeting was scheduled for 9 o'clock that evening.
Yeah. And your commissioners did come out, because I was at Ukudu, with with a group of people, and one of the commissioners actually came up to us outside. He said he was inside checking the precinct officials, but he saw us outside, so he decided to get out of his car and just have a conversation and see how things were going. So I was very appreciative of that, you know. So you know, we did see them out there, and your team, because you had a lot of partners. You had the schools, who, you know, school officials who were your partners that made sure the campuses got opened. You had the Guam Police Department, Department of Public Works, you know, all of the precinct officials, your staff, and, you know, everybody who did training. And I really, you know, credit the training to you and your team, because as you did that nightly at your office and on weekends, people came in, got trained, and took a test. And if they didn't pass the test, you went back into the training room and, you know, and made sure that they understood exactly what was required of them. And then they got through it, and they knew what was in the boxes before they opened it at the school, because they were the ones that packed it, right? So,
yes, and they seal it. It's sealed. They sign off on it. So when they come in the morning at 5:30, the precinct officials will make sure that it's their signatures appear on the sealed ballots.
Right. That's because they were the ones that sealed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another thing is, you know, I want to also recognize that you had observers in at the University of Guam.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
From Palau and CNMI.
Correct. So the three of us, Guam, CNMI, and Palau, we all use the same vendor, the same machines. And so Palau and CNMI don't have a primary, so they're able to come up and see. They've never observed our early voting in the past, so they wanted to do that. And then the tabulation, of course, and what we do at 4:00 in the morning. They never saw that, where the 22 buses are lined up from St. Anthony down Fahrenheit all the way to our office, and our young, very strong staff load up the supply bag and the ballot boxes onto the box. And then our police officer will jump on the bus with our bus driver and head on out to the 22 polling sites.
Wow. And did you have a police officer for every bus?
Absolutely. And there's a police officer with the ballots all the time. When we go to the University of Guam for the test election, we convoy with police escort.
Oh yeah.
And when we get there, when the machines get there, the officers are always there 24/7 with the machines, and no one's allowed to go in except people with badges.
Right. Yeah. That's at the University of Guam, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's our typical election. Traditionally, our election return center. It's the only venue where it can accommodate the 59 tables with the 5 precinct officials sitting around it. You know, where they all come in, all 235 of them come in, get seated at the tables and start counting the cast ballots. And then on the other side would be our tabulators and our commissioners, and a replication table and a results table too.
Yeah, but just the fact that you had your colleagues from our region that were here to observe your operations, and so they were with you as the boxes got picked up at your office, and so I bet they were really impressed, right?
Yes, and so we learn from them too.
Yes,
yes, we do learn from them. In the CNMI, they have to service the Northern Islands, and there are voters in the Northern Islands. So we learn how they deliver their ballots early. They go there for registration. And in Palau, it's the same thing. They have islands across the ocean, right?
The Rock Islands, yeah.
So they have that challenge that we don't have.
Yeah. So
and in both cases, Melissa, their off-island ballots are a bigger bunch than Guam, much bigger.
Oh yes,
yes.
yes.
So
especially
they get-
Palau, and CNMI, because they have a lot of people who are in the military, students that are out there, others that are working, contract workers, right? So
Mhm.
they're able to vote from where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they have thousands, we only have a couple, 300, about 350.
See, IAD. Yeah,
Mhm.
theirs are the thousands. Vote their absentee ballots really make a difference in their elections.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they also, they do, both of them do homebound voting services as well.
Okay.
So they were able to observe how ballots go out with the deputized homebound officials and how they come in and how those ballots are super protected. So they don't go out with too many ballots, and they come back. Our deputized homebound officials come back with the same number of ballots.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
And you had great people that were out there doing the homebound as well.
Oh yeah, Melissa. We're still crunching the numbers, but I believe that Saturday, 2026 election, August 1st, the number of homebound voters we service were, I think, over 60.
Wow.
In one day. Yeah. And that's a time-consuming task.
Yeah.
Because we were at the hospitals, we were at homes, and what's time-consuming is we know that they're not in the best of health, so our homebound officials are carefully picked, and one of the main ingredients is patience.
Yeah. Right. I've seen your homebound people. You even are they given a car to go out to? Because I've
Yes,
seen.
it has
I
to
said
be
that's
a
not
Guam
his normal
election
car.
car.
Whose car is he driving? And somebody said, oh, that's a GEC car that he's driving to go to the homebound. So that's awesome that you provide them the vehicle to.
Yeah.
to
We
go as
have
well.
to. We want to make sure that we cannot put it in a privately owned vehicle, and there's always at least two
of them, right?
Yeah.
So there's no tampering with anything. That's great. So congratulations on a job well done. I look forward to the general election because I know that with this class that you offer at the University of Guam offers, we have several students who will be participating there, and then actually their final thing is to actually work as a precinct official. So if anybody is interested in taking TA 308 for this semester, it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the University of Guam from 5:30 to 6:50, and the GEC will pay for that particular tuition, right, for that course?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great thing, and we look forward to seeing that class fill up soon, right? Who's the instructor for that? Who's the professor? Are you or is it?
There's three of us that will take turns. It'll be Pashana Gumatao, Tomas and Augustine, and myself.
Okay, that's great.
So we team teach the class.
Great. And so this is a class that's offered. I mean, it happened. It's offered throughout different states as well, right? Because it's part of the U.S. Election Commission, where you get funding.
So I don't know if other states offer it. They have certification programs where they get certified in elections administration. Yes, they do, but it's a whole certificate program for either undergraduate or graduate. Minnesota has it. Auburn University in Alabama has it. And then there's also certification programs that are based on State Election Officials Association. We're too small to have an association, but like in California, they have certification programs. I don't know if Colorado has, but quite a few of the states have certification programs. We've jumped on a couple of meetings in the past with the state association, but now the U.S. Election Assistance Commission is offering a program online, and so we've been doing that. Some of our staff have gone in and taken the online classes there.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, this is exciting. I'm glad that Guam is one of the very few that have engaged in this program, and it enhances the ability for our people who participate in it, right? And so congratulations. Yeah, so we look forward to all the hard work that you continue to, put into preparing and making this process much easier for our people too. I love the fact that we do early voting and homebound and absentee. So we know a few people who are still out of Guam, off island because of medical reasons. And, we just want to encourage them if they're still there, if they haven't applied for homebound voting, absentee ballots, to do so as soon as possible, right?
Yes. So those that applied for primary election for both homebound and off-island and what we call UOCAVA, they automatically get sent a general election ballot unless they indicated it was only for the primary.
For the primary, right.
Yeah. Melissa, one last thing.
Sure.
Before, we never can underestimate the power of the media.
Yes.
Including you. Okay. And so the more people learn about the election processes, the better the election becomes.
Yes.
But more important, the more voters that show up at the polls, the better leaders we have. Imagine if only a few voters elect our leaders. We need to get all our people, including the young people, 18 to 24 or 18 to 30. We need to find out how we can get them to come to the polls.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And, I always say people take for granted that, the general is the one that we're going to really focus on. I said, but you don't realize how important it is at the primary election, because that decides, and the primary is a party election, but when you have opponents, competition on each side of the party, that is critical, because that's when they choose who would move on to the general to represent each party, right? And I always say, treat the primary election like it's the general. And so that's the main, I always say that's the most important one, right? Because you're right, we need to encourage. I was bringing Manamkos to vote, right? Because they don't have transportation, but they still are able to walk around. And they were the ones calling to say, hey, I need a ride, right? But the younger ones who are at the mall, they're, just hanging around, right? Those are the ones we need to drive if they don't have transportation, or encourage and push them, and just have them engage to bring their friends and their partners, all their everybody that they. And social media tried to do that as much as possible, but we just didn't get enough people out there. And I know our percentages are low. Somebody said, well, Dedito was only at 29%. I said, well, you know what? We have 14,000 voters in Dedito, right? Versus the smaller villages that had maybe 1,000 voters, right? So that's our goal, is to keep pushing for them to come out and take advantage of the early voting, right?
Yes, and they're asking me what kind of incentives do we have. So at early voting, Weston, our other major partner, gives out 10% discount at everywhere.
If you show
in
your
Weston.
sticker. If you show your sticker.
If you show your I voted stickers.
Yeah.
And the excitement of the I voted stickers was overwhelming.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I said, can I have more? They looked at me like, there's more voters after you, right? But I love that elementary sticker, middle school, all of the three were really beautiful stickers and very encouraging. So, I just really thank your team for even initiating that with the school children. The students did an awesome job, So thank you for allowing that. It's not just that I voted sticker and it was text, right? This one was actually an artwork and showed, one was a cocoa bird, right? The other one was parts, the scenery. It was awesome. And it shows the talents of the students that we have throughout our island. So I love the stickers.
Oh, yes. Thanks to the teachers and the students.
Of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I know that, we'll continue to do that. Would you do another sticker competition for not the general, but 2 years from now, right?
Potentially, we need to check our inventory. We need to spend our people's money very wisely.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes, and hopefully our other partners will come up and help us so we can do the competition again.
Yeah. And, we get great prizes for the kids, right? So that they want to do
Oh,
this.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so they had the latest and greatest iPad, they had AirPods, and they had, I think, $100 credit card.
See? Yeah.
First, second, and third for all three divisions, not just one division, all three divisions.
So that's, congratulations on that part as well, because, it's a team effort. You worked with the Department of Education, all the schools actually, because some of the artists came from private schools also, and then you had you work with the University of Guam, Guam Police Department, the Weston, DPW. GDOE, so it's a variety of people. And then you had great vendors that were out there to support the needs on election day as well, with the Election Commission providing the meals to the precinct officials and all the workers.
I have to mention the Mayor's Council of Guam.
Yes.
They're the ones that have their ears and their to the villagers, right?
Yes.
So they help us. They help us tremendously. They put up the canopies for the accessible voting services at the polling sites. They look at our list, our voter list, and make sure that they try to make sure that all their villagers are listed correctly in our list. They do that for us, and that's part of the law, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And so, yes, and they, as soon as something's going on, I call them, and they're always there to help us.
Yeah. And I remember when I was there in Dedito, on election day, we were actually helping you pick up the meals and delivering it to the schools. So, it's a team effort. We all want to make sure that this happens without any obstacles, right, or glitches, and with everybody working together, it's going to happen. And so congratulations to everyone who participated, voters who came out to vote. Thank you for all the poll precinct officials, the officers that were there to watch the ballots and be on the bus, and the DPW bus drivers, the University of Guam at the UOG Field House, the DOE places, schools that were used. Thank you to the school staff that opened the gates and the doors and made sure that the bathrooms were functioning for the team that were at the schools. There were some areas, the Guam Congress building was used for the Hagåtña polling site, the Humatek mayor's office, and the Asanmaina mayor's office were also used for the polling sites. Other areas were all school. Thank you to Dominican Catholic School for opening your doors for the Jigo polling site as well. DL Perez was on the other site, but it's DOE, Dominican Catholic School, and the mayor's office and the Guam Congress building for allowing those facilities to be used for the different voting sites. So, anybody else?
Melissa? Yes, Melissa.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, when I leave the office at about 7 o'clock at night, the first people I call is Guam Power Authority to make sure that they're on standby in case there are power glitches. At the university with the tabulators, we have about a half hour worth of power if the power goes out. Guam Power Authority is prepared to switch lines so that we can come back within 5 minutes.
Great.
Yes, and on Friday, I received a call that water was out in Agana Heights. I immediately called Guam Waterworks and asked for a good contact just in case.
Yeah.
So Guam Power Authority and Guam Waterworks are our partners as well.
That's great. So it's not just Guam Election Commission. It's Guam Election Commission and all of their partners to include the utilities. So congratulations to everyone. I was just excited how 2 tabulations came out and we were done, And when I looked at one side of the room and all the tables and chairs were gone, I said, that means everything's at the machine counting, right? Spoiled ballots. Did you have a lot of spoiled ballots that came out?
No, but we did have some ballots that the machine did not count right away.
Okay.
So that is the challenging part of the tabulation process. Our commissioners work hard to duplicate those ballots. So those are called those ballots are logged and are put away safely in a separate ballot box. Those that were duplicated, and those that were fed back into the machine goes in the same precinct box where they belong.
Okay. Great. So and you have so much checks and balances along the way that there's no room for anything to happen and to disrupt the process, right? So
yes.
So thank you for the commissioners.
As soon as we put the ballots on the bus driver signs for the transfer, and then when the bus driver gets to the polling sites, the precinct officials take that transfer record and submit it to us at the Election Return Center.
Well, that's wonderful. See? So there's paper trail for everything. So there's no way that anything is going to happen to disrupt the process. So thank you, Maria Pangilinan, and I hope you got some rest after Saturday so that you can refresh yourself to get back on the roll. And I know that today is the last day for the CCU, for filing for CCU, AG, Attorney General, and the Guam Education Board, right?
Yes, so come on in.
Yeah, come on in. The GEC has opened their doors for for you to turn in your packets. Okay. Si Zeus Maasi for all the work that you've done. Okay.
So much, Melissa Savares.
Okay. Adios. Okay, and then we have, that was great, Miss Blas. Half a day. I'll go ahead and take that one. All right. Okay, and so buenas and half a day, Miss Blas. You're on the air with Mornings with Patti.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling in to share some of my sentiments on the primary election and to share what I'm going to be doing before the general election.
Okay.
Number one, the early voters I have observed are usually voters who have already made up their mind about who they're voting for in that particular election, especially in the primary election. And so I thought I was going to vote early, but I chose to wait until the voting day, and that waiting allowed me to change my mind because things happened before the election day that helped me to change my mind on certain candidates, and I was very happy to wait. Okay, now prior to the primary election, I tried very hard to get inactive voters that I knew did not vote in the previous general election, and their response to me was, "Why am I going to vote? We have the same old people getting in there, and they do the same old thing. They promise to help with education, public safety, and all these other things.
Right.
And then what happens after the election? The same thing. And every election they're saying the same thing, the same old, same old." So what are voters, inactive voters looking for? They're looking for tangible evidence that something is being done that directly affects them. And if that is not happening, they have no desire to go to the polls.
Yeah.
So, my advice to them was, okay, when it comes to the legislature, it helped me tremendously to observe these legislators in action.
Right, during sessions and hearings, right?
Yes, because it helps you see what their temperaments are and how they act as legislators in the 38th Guam legislature. And I'm going to tell you now that within the group of people that I converse with, they're very disappointed with the 38th Guam legislature. And I'm not going to discuss anything in particular because still I leave the decision on who to vote for to them based on how they feel and how they're being affected by these legislators. But for the most part, the 38th Guam legislature has been very disappointing to them. Okay. And then another thing. One of the things that was critical in their decisions is the mayor's council in the previous year's budget hearings made it very clear that the legislature is not really helping the people in the various mayoral municipalities. And when the mayors went there with passion, and some of them were almost drawn to tears about what the help that they needed from the 38th Guam legislature to service their constituents. And what the people I know, and I personally feel this too, is that their pleas to the 38th Guam legislature were only given token assistance on their pleas. In other words, they didn't do enough for the individual municipalities that made passionate pleas to the 38th Guam legislature for more help in the municipalities. So what they've done is they've said, they've told the constituents that, okay, yeah, your mayors came to us with their pleas, and yeah, we feel a little bit for them, but we're just going to give them more money to cut lawns and whatever. They didn't do enough. So these are the things that are people are considering. Let me tell you that a lot of voters who supported the Terlahi Perez team only came out because they believe that that team is not part of the status quo and provides hope for the future. So, and another thing I think needs to be considered by any candidates that are running in the general election, they need to show tangible evidence that they are actually serving their constituency, showing evidence that they're doing something for real people and not just all talk and no action. This is what's going to happen in the general election. You're going to see that people didn't go to the primary elections because of the way it's set up. No one wants to vote anymore based on being only a Republican or being only a Democrat. That is so disappointing because constituents in all of the municipalities on Guam have friends or people they want to support that, if they're Democrats, are Republican.
Right.
And if they're Republican, they have people they want to vote for that are Democrat.
Right.
This primary election disallowed that, and that's why you're seeing a lot of inactive voters not participating because they don't want to do that. They don't want to stand on the Republican side and say all the Democrats are not worthy of being voted for. And the same goes for Democrats. They're saying, I'm not going to go there and only vote for Democrats when there are some Republicans that deserve my vote.
Right.
But when you watch in this general election, you're going to see a lot bigger turnout, and maybe not as big as they anticipate, but it is going to be a larger number because they're free to vote on both sides of the aisle.
Yes.
So those are some of the thoughts I wanted to share with you.
Thank you so much.
You're going to see a lot of new candidates being voted into public office because, like I said, the voting population, and me included, we're not going to go along with people who are all mouth and no action.
Yeah.
And so a lot of new candidates, let me tell you, you're going to get in on, you stand a very good chance of getting in, but you've got to get out there and show tangible evidence that you are servants of the people of Guam and that you're doing something. You have tangible evidence to prove that you're concerned about the welfare of the whole as opposed to the elitist view on Guam.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity to share my sentiments and observations for this primary election. I'd like to extend a dunkel message to the Guam Election Commission under the leadership of Maria Pangilinan because they did a fantastic and excellent job on what they were commissioned to do. And we can look forward to a fabulous general election and the conducting of the general election through that leadership.
Yes.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
Sizu
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you for your call as well, okay? And that's what I continue to say is that, voters nowadays, the primary election is actually a party election.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? But voters nowadays don't vote for the party. They vote for the person.
The individuals
and so,
themselves.
that younger voters are the same way. That's the mentality. We're voting for the person, not the party.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's right. People don't come out for the primary because it's you can only vote on one side, right? So we're going to go back to the news. It is at the top of the
Yes,
hour.
ma'am.
I think we're a little late for that, but we'll go ahead
Gotcha.
and start with that, and then come back and talk to some other people after.
Let's
at
do
the
it.
at the other side of the the break. Thank you.
We are KGUM-FM. This is the Wave 105 FM Mornings with Patti. With our guest host this morning, we have Melissa Savares.
Explore, snap, and share for a chance to win a round-trip ticket to Taiwan. Join the Guam photo hunt and visit iconic landmarks and hidden gems island-wide. The more locations you photograph, the more chances you have to win exciting prizes. Learn more and submit to win online at visitguam.com/photo hunt. Terms and conditions apply. Explore, snap, and rediscover Guam. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau.
AP News, I'm Ed Donahue. A vote in the full Senate is possible this week on President Trump's nominee for Attorney General, Acting AG Todd Blanche. 2 Republican senators wanted assurances an anti-weaponization fund that would benefit President Trump's allies is dead. North Carolina's Tom Tillis was one of the holdouts.
At the end of the day, don't act like you're standing on some sort of moral high ground if you start attacking this administration, because I can match you almost deed for deed. What I would like to see here is maybe people saying, look at it, instead of criticizing people on the other side of the aisle, why don't you go back and hold your own caucus and your conference to a higher standard?
Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin says Blanche serves the president and not the American people.
Instead of serving the American people and upholding the rule of law and the Constitution, Mr. Blanche has aided and abetted the most corrupt administration in the history of the United States.
The committee vote on Blanche was along party lines. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says a deal may be near either today or tomorrow to possibly open the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it would be freedom of movement. And even though things are still a little dicey there over the past few days, we've saw quite a few ships coming out.
He spoke to CNBC. Iran and Oman are meeting to discuss the strait. Michigan will offer the country its clearest gauge yet of the direction of the Democratic Party. Primary voters in the battleground state choose between a progressive standard-bearer and an establishment-backed candidate for Senate. Chipotle Mexican Grill says it has removed jalapenos from some of its restaurants after determining the peppers could potentially be tied to a salmonella outbreak. Public health officials in Minnesota are investigating. Officials identified more than 100 cases in the state. Oil prices have dropped and stocks have soared at the closing bell. This is AP News. Extending the National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C. will not be cheap. Here's the AP's Sagar Magani.
A Pentagon estimate given to Congress for pushing the deployment into 2029 shows it will cost roughly $1.4 billion. The Guard first arrived here in Washington last summer as President Trump issued an emergency order he says was aimed at fighting crime. Just yesterday,
we have very little crime now. This was the crime capital, frankly, of the world.
But local officials have bashed the deployment as infringing on D.C.'s autonomy. Democrats say the president has militarized the capital's streets at taxpayer cost. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Buckingham Palace says Princess Eugenie, daughter of the former Prince Andrew, has given birth to a baby girl, her third child and first daughter. Eugenie is the niece of King Charles. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
Half a day, I'm Callum Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callum Perez and I approve this message.
Holiday Guam. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. It's Mornings with Patti on the Wave 105 FM. We have exactly 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. It is a Wednesday, August 5th, streaming live and online at thewave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel. That's Wave 105.1 FM Guam. And the show this morning is being brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at SubwayPacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. Online ordering at SubwayPacific.com. It is powered by Good to Go. We deliver at Subway. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Bank Pacific, where others place branches, we place roots. Visit bankpacific.com today. GTA, we start with you. Mobile gas stations turn every fuel stop into rewards with Mobile Smiles. Download the app today for exclusive offers and faster rewards at the pump. Mobile Smiles, fuel up and save. Take Care Insurance Company, our island, your health plan. It's big deals on big wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first. Shop, dine, and relax at the Agana Shopping Center, your destination for food, fun, and local favorites all year long. Pat's Tinting and Detailing for all your special interior cleaning. Call 483-7522. Code 1 Store is your tactical shop for public safety and everyday gear, serving Guam since 1999. Shop 511 Tactical and Condor Outdoor, plus steel-toe footwear. Stop by Code 1 Store today. And Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Good morning, Guam, and welcome back. You're tuned in to the Wave 105 FM.
Tori tempo gagi hami isla tanota Nangatsum hiri tempo ibisino itingo West Attic hamna banco sa Bank Exhibition Bank Pacific I Ocean Long Promise Happy Holly
Viva Bank Pacific!
Indeed, half a day going out to the staff and management at Bank Pacific this morning. Let's hit the streets right now. This will be your last look at your traffic report for this morning. And it is being brought to you by Guam Auto Spot. Schedule a test drive at 478 Auto. Or if you'd like to look at our inventory, you may also check out our website. That's GuamAutospot.com. All right, guys, let's see what we got brewing on the streets of Guam. We're at the 8 o'clock rush hour on the southern end of the island. It looks like traffic is moving nicely. Great job, Southside friends and family. Coming around the central part, it looks like traffic is beginning to pick up. That's going to be coming around Hagåtña, Mongmong, Totu, Maiti, Tamuning, Upper Tumon, as well as Lower Tumon this morning. Getting around Barragata, it looks like traffic is also building up over on that end, as well as our friends up and around the airport. Dedido traffic is light, moving nicely along Ukidu, as well as our friends in the Jigo area. Again, folks, just want to remind everyone to please watch your speed limit this morning. We have got to allow braking distance. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Mostly cloudy with highs around 86 degrees. So let's make sure our seatbelts are fastened and that our kids are strapped safely in the proper booster and car seats. It's also back to school orientation. So you will find traffic developing around the school zones this morning. So again, folks, let's all just have ourselves a safe hump day Wednesday. We are moving forward with our friends at Guam Auto Spot. It's your traffic report right here on the Wave 105 FM.
Why be at the forefront of childhood cancer research? At St. Jude, we do it because every innovation we make is a moment we give to children with cancer everywhere. But we can't do it without you. Help St. Jude give children with cancer more moments. Moments that can last a lifetime. Learn more at stjude.org.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. This is Melissa Savares filling in for Patti this morning. And so, our phone lines are open, 922-1051 or 1052 if you want to share any thoughts with us, anything about opening of school, the bus schedules, the election this past weekend. We've heard from Maria Pangilinan and a caller, Mrs. Blas, talking about, the success of this weekend's process. And we just give us a call if you have anything that you want to share with us. We will be talking to someone in Agate. They'll be celebrating Mount Carmel festivities.
Exciting.
Soon. So, we'll be talking to Mayor Kevin soon and talk about the different activities that they'll be having. And, we want to share, Ms. Blas mentioned, that her disappointment with what's the budget process, right? And what's given to the mayors to do their work in the villages. And, yes, we all struggle. I remember when I was part of the council and I would go to these budget hearings to justify the needs, especially for the 4 larger villages, Tumuning, Dedido, Jigo, and Mangilao. We all had over 10,000 residents versus the smaller villages that have maybe no more than 6,000 residents, right? Yes, and we all got the same budget allotment, right? With the exception of, say, village roads, because some of us had more roads than others, and they were talking about only paved roads, right? But the last time that a road inventory was ever done was in 2009. And so, that's, we've exceeded the road mileage inventory because there are some roads that were paved after 2009 that are not included in the inventory. So some of the villages felt that they were shortchanged when it came time to the budget release. Yeah, and what we get in our villages. And of course, your population as well. Tumuning had over 20,000 residents. Mangilao is growing over 16,000 residents. And Jigo has over 22,000 residents, with Dedido at over 43,000 residents. So,
large villages.
Large villages with the populations. They said, a smaller village tried to compare their land mass versus the land mass in the larger villages.
Understood.
But, I used to argue that, in the land mass you have mountains and rivers and hills and nobody living in it versus the larger villages that have the population and people that we serve. So, you're not cutting grass in the mountains, right? Or near the rivers. You are trying to keep order for especially for the residential areas, so that the kids can walk to the bus stop safely, walk to school. So there's a lot of more maintenance work that you need to do when you have residential areas, right? Of course, the residents take care of everything in front of them, but we still need to maintain village parks. You need funding for that. It's not just parks just because it's a park, it doesn't mean it's under Parks and Recreation, right? Anything within the municipalities or the villages need to be with the responsibilities of the respective mayors, right? And there are some shared areas, but still funding is needed, and with the price of gas that has gone up, fuel is needed fuel and oil are needed to service the different facilities. The cost of the number of schools as well, versus, we don't maintain the school properties, but we support, if anything needs to get trimmed, as far as trimming of trees. We work with the Department of Agriculture to identify the proper way of trimming trees, but we also get a permit to do those things. So we have to, work. The mayor's office works with the Department of Agriculture, and to assure that whatever trimming of trees that are done on the school campuses are permitted and stuff. So, there's a lot more. And then you have mayors that do festivals and events for their fiestas, but also for other things. In particular, they do like the Doni Festival, or the Mango Festival, the Crab Festival. So those additional things cost money to each of those mayor's offices. And so, when you give a budget, yes, there's funding source. I mean, we apply for funding through GITA and the Guam Visitors Bureau, because we invite all residents and visitors to these festivals as well. So, we look at funding source. And so when you give a lump sum budget without the additional funding to host these different events, it kind of gets challenging for all of the mayors to do so. And I would like to speak, on the line, we have Mayor Kevin Saswiku. Manana Sizuas, Mayor.
Manana Sizuas, good morning. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Guam. Good.
Okay, so
beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day. So I saw a billboard out here in across from Micronesia Mall, and it said Hagat is celebrating Mount Carmel, their Mount Carmel fiesta, but at the same time you have some festivities. So what kind of activities are you going to have for your Mount Carmel feast celebration?
So this coming August 29 and 30, we will be celebrating a 2-day Fiesta Carnival and car show. This actually was supposed to have taken place in July. However, because of the typhoon, we decided to postpone it and put it together with our Santa Rosa Fiesta, which actually falls on that particular weekend. And so we have a whole lineup of entertainment that will be joining us for the 2 days, and it will be from 12 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. for the 2 days. We will also have our car show that will be taking place. There will be a burnout competition, and there'll be some other things that will be happening throughout the weekend on our schedule. And we have some vendors. We, of course, will have some food and novelty vendors and some games for everyone to come in and celebrate. And so, August is not all about the Mango Festival, and we're taking this opportunity to, of course, promote our village, and this is in conjunction with the church to help with our church, and so we're happy to put this on. This is our second annual, and so we're excited, and we invite everybody to come out and join us. And Mayor, you're right. It's difficult for us mayors to put these on, and funding, of course, is always an issue, but it's always a great thing when we can pull off an event such as the festival or carnival or even a car show, not only for our people of our municipality, but for the entire island of Guam. As we recover, we give something else on a positive note for the people of Guam to come out and enjoy, and of course for our visitors alike.
Of course, and so this event will be up by the senior center and between the gym, the area across from the church?
No, so we'll be holding it down at the Saga Besita at our office, and because of the car show, we couldn't put it in front of the church, and we really want to, and then of course the burnout competition. We don't want to put the burnout competition right next to the church and have that noise and all the smell kind of lingering, and so. Last year we drew out a crowd, and this year we're hoping to do the same. And so we can't pray for anything else other than good weather and and good company for the festival.
Okay, so that would be over at the Sagam Besita, August 29th and 30th. Fiesta Carnival for Santa Rosa Fiesta, and then a car show. And I'm looking forward to the car show. So you're going to have burnout. What time's that burnout competition?
I believe at 5 o'clock p.m. on both days for the burnout competition.
Okay. And then you have a lineup of bands and entertainment as well, right?
Yes. So, our staff have been very good about putting a great lineup together throughout the day. And so, there will be we'll have different types of entertainment from the dance groups coming out, and some of our local bands performing live on stage throughout the day.
Great. So we look forward to it. So everybody on Guam is invited to the Fiesta Carnival for Santa Rosa Fiesta over at the Sagambasita, Hagat Sagambasita, on August 29th and 30th, starting at 12 noon and ending at 8 p.m. Will you have fireworks on the last day?
Right now, if we can, we may have a surprise, but of course that's all, it's just depending on sponsorships and of course on funding. And so, we've been given a very, very small sponsorship from GBB, and so, but it costs money, as you said, Mir, for the entertainment, for us to put it out, and
of course,
and then we have to pay for other expenses for the permits and different types of fees what have you. So maybe there's anything left and we can afford for fireworks, then we may have fireworks more than likely on the closing. But again, we invite everybody to come out and join us on August the 28th and 29th from 12 o'clock, as Mir said, from 12 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. At the Second Besita.
Yeah, and so we look forward to that. Do you have any guests coming in from abroad?
We do. Actually, we have our brothers and sisters from our sister city, your sister city, from the Trinidad, sister city of Dededo, the municipality of Dededo, Sumuning, Tutua, and Hagat now, with Mayor Roderick. And so we have a delegation coming in to join us for our event. And so, our events bring in our brothers and sisters from, and we have some of the mayors from CNMI joining us too as well. And so we're excited to host this event, not only for our people of Guam, but again for our visitors that will be joining us, and all of our guests coming.
Yeah, and so I kind of mentioned that earlier because we were talking about visa waiver, and I said when we have these events, we invite our colleagues from we have sister relationships with, from the other provinces and islands, right? And I said, usually when we use that invitation, that's what they use to go to the U.S. Embassy to apply for their visas. And so, we said the process, if, and they don't just come by themselves, they also come with their families, and they come with their, their counselors, and other staff, right? And so I said, maybe two of us would go over there, but when they come, it's like in abundance, right? And they stay.
Absolutely, and the greatest part about that is they come for that economic experience, as we call it, and they come with a hand carry, and they leave with luggage, with over excess baggage, and so that helps the businesses all around.
Yes, they leave with
that's great for our economy every time we invite our brothers and sisters from anywhere as they come in and help our economy.
Yes, they leave with a balagbayan box. Right? Yeah, and so I always say it's all around economically fruitful when they come too, because they love to spend their money here, right? And it goes even the ones that come from our northern islands, right? Our CNMI, they also contribute to the economy while they're here as well. So, okay, Mayor, give me a call if you need help with, pickups in the morning, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for always, you've always been a great partner of mine, and, and always a big supporter. And, I want to thank you for that. And, definitely I'll be reaching out to you for the different groups that come in.
And I can probably host, depending on when they come, I can host a night. I'll get together with Mayor Peter, and we'll do something together. But just let us know. But I want to let the people of Guam know that you are having a Fiesta Carnival and a car show, and you're inviting them to a Hagat for this event at the end of the month. So congratulations, and I look forward to seeing the calendar of events that come up as you get closer to the time. So
thank you, and we'll see you down in Hagat.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Kevin. Thank you. Yeah. So this is what we talk about, the different events and what they get in their budget, and the return is you can profit, but the return is getting the businesses, all your partners. You have food trucks that come out. He mentioned he has small vendors, right, that come out with their carvings and their products that they make, right? A lot of it, even the food vendors, he kind of gets the food trucks in there because they're already contained. They have their health certificates and their licenses, right? But you have your little, vendors that want to make like Bonellos, right?
Okay.
And so they need to go out and get their
Set up shop.
everything,
Yes, right.
all their clearances to run their operation. The mayor's office provides the space.
Okay.
And so it's the community coming together, right?
Sure.
And so that's a great thing. And so the money that they earn supplements their operations and what they do in the village. So, and like he said, this is in partnership with the Mount Carmel Church for the Santa Rosa Fiesta. So he says part of the proceeds will also, because they're partners in this event, part of the proceeds will go back to the church expenses as well. So, I'd like to congratulate Hoggett for this production, and we look forward to going down there for at the end of the month.
It's a beautiful drive.
Yeah,
It's
for
a great job.
their fiesta and car show. And like you said, it's not just about the Mango Festival. They do other events throughout the year, just like the other villages. Malesut does Crab Festival and Fiesta and Tassi, right? Humatek does the reenactment of the landing of Magellan, and then his fiesta in October. So, different villages have different events, and Dedido's events are every Saturday and Sunday mornings. They have their weekend flea market, where we have a lot of vendors coming out for both produce, and the fishermen come out and sell their fish. So a lot of our farmers also are out there, and our gardeners are plant nurseries. So, we want to encourage our residents to take advantage of all of the things that are being offered throughout the island and throughout the day. And GVB has a great event on Sundays. So that's, the night market. It stretches out both sides of the street from Tumansans Plaza towards the Hyatt. So, we want to congratulate all of that. The Chamorro Village on Wednesday nights, Thursday nights at the Mangilaw Night Market. So all these different, groups putting out things for our residents to do. You can't say there's nothing to do on Guam, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's more than enough things to do on Guam for us to participate in. And so, this Hoggett Festival and Car Show are just one of the many things that happen. Right. Do we need to take a bottom of the hour? Okay, so we'll take a bottom of the hour break, and then we'll come back and talk about other things that are happening. Thank you.
Introducing the all-new Subway Wraps. Now you can make any footlong a wrap. Light, delicious, and satisfying without weighing you down. Subway Wraps make fueling your day easier than ever with bold flavors and fresh ingredients. Try the cheesy garlic steak wrap today. Subway. Eat fresh, feel good.
Member FDIC. Half a day Agana, is your lunch hour slipping away? Don't settle for snacks. Get a real fast meal at the Agana Shopping Center. If you're on a grab-and-go mission, we got your favorites ready to roll. Swing by Subway, Taco Bell, or Jollibee. Grab legendary snaps from Chan's Hot Dogs, fresh customized bowls from Poke 7, or savory wraps at Dr. Kebab. Plus crispy wings from Vaughn's and ready-to-eat bento and Korean meals at Tokyo Mart and Seoul Mart. Park easy, run in, grab your takeout, and get back to the office with time time to spare. Only at Agana Shopping Center.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs, to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Half a day, I'm Callum Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callum Perez and I approve this message.
Explore, snap, and share for a chance to win a round-trip ticket to Taiwan. Join the Guam Photo Hunt and visit iconic landmarks and hidden gems island-wide. The more locations you photograph, the more chances you have to win exciting prizes. Learn more and submit to win online at visitguam.com/photo hunt. Terms and conditions apply. Explore, snap, and rediscover Guam. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own vacuum. You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve a housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
So, what's your idea of a 10?
I love guys who don't text and drive.
Girls that wait until they're parked to text? Bro, instant 10.
I don't know, but I got the ick when I went out with this boy who texted while driving.
10s wait to send. Eyes on the road, not your phone.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments, river bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. to protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
A message from Joshua Jackson, actor and Fair Volunteer Ambassador.
Food allergy is a serious, life-threatening disease that impacts over 33 million Americans. When your immune system sees certain food proteins as a threat, every bite matters. But here's the good news. There have been advancements in the treatment of food allergies, and with one voice, we can create better awareness. Because in the FAIR community, the disease doesn't own us. We own our journey. Talk to an allergist to understand your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
We're looking beneath our feet today to uncover the surprising, shimmering engineering that built the foundation of America's historic coastal cities. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for August 5th.
Long before the modern invention of industrial asphalt, the world's favorite shelled delicacy served as the foundational bedrock for early American infrastructure. During the 19th century, booming coastal hubs like Baltimore and New Orleans consumed millions of fresh oysters daily, generating massive mountainous piles of discarded shells. Instead of throwing them away, clever urban engineers crushed the heavy calcified armor into a cheap, durable aggregate to pave their public streets and sidewalks, transforming muddy waterfront alleyways into bright, white, shimmering street grids. The legendary seafood we enjoy on National Oyster Day literally paved America.
This is great. I mean, really.
I can see the city engineers going, come on, people, eat more oysters.
Right?
We need to pave our roads.
Yeah, but what a great use for those shells.
It's a great thing. It's funny that we still don't do this today.
But, and obviously those last a lot longer than what we're doing now.
That's probably true. Every year, construction season.
Yeah. We are also celebrating National Underwear Day and National Work Like a Dog Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Arlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks, world-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Registering a domain name on the web? You should know about Pairnick. Pairnick offers .com names at a great price with quality service you expect. Because Pairnick is powered by internet leader Pair Networks. Whether you need a domain name for business or personal use, Pairnick is your best choice. Remember Pairnick when you need a domain name. That's PAIRNIC.com. Pairnick.
Welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. This is Mornings with Patti, and I am Melissa Savares, filling in for Patti this morning. And so, we have different activities that are coming up. We have today, if you're available today, over at the T. Steele Newman Visitor Center.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the museum right outside, across from Taco Bell.
That's the
in
one.
Santa Rita. They have a coconut leaf weaving session workshop today from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And, of course, space is limited. But if you are interested, it's for 10 years old and up. If you are interested in participating, you can give them a call at 671 333 4055 and see if there's any space open, to go in there and learn how to weave some coconut stuff. So what they're going to be doing is weaving the heart.
All right.
And and different things. The bird, right? Things that katupet. The katupet is something that we weave a lot. In that's one of the first things that we learn how to weave, so we can cook our rice in the katupet, right? I like the katupet because you do your red rice and you stick it in the pot, right? And while it's boiling, the water is boiling, and when you eat it, it comes out in that shell of the weaved coconut. It's like a small basket, right?
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah, it is so
That's
cool.
a fun technique.
Yeah,
That's really
and then
cool.
you get the flavors, right? Different flavors in that. So yeah, they're gonna they're gonna teach you how to weave katupet and heart, and maybe the bird and the fish and
Right on.
other items that are, so it's about a 3-hour event workshop, and over at the T. Steele Newman Visitor Center in Santa Rita. So this is the one where that big submarine is right in front, and then you have the coffee shop. What is it? Infusion.
That's right.
Right next door, right?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay, so if you're interested in that, you can. That is happening today starting at 1:00, so 1 to 4.
Right.
And there's another thing coming up. Art Guahan, Art Space Guahan. They have classes
Yes, ma'am.
class on the 15th of August.
That's right.
So they're learning different things, and actually throughout the month of August, they have different sessions.
They do.
And they even have a painting.
That's right. That's
fabric
right.
painting, right? Japanese
on the canvas.
canvas,
they
right?
do. They do.
So
And this weekend.
and this weekend
This
is
weekend.
yes.
We're looking at 10 to 4. 10 to 4. There's going to be 25 local artisans and creators.
Yes.
25. They're going to be showcasing some really handcrafted
Yeah.
ideas, and it's really going to be exciting.
Yes, and so their studio is actually in Tamuning.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you are interested in any of getting more information on any of their classes, or what's available, what's coming up in the next few weeks, or even how to register, right? Their number is 671-648-2787.
That's right.
So you can give them a call. They have different sessions, mostly on weekends as we start the school year, but they do have after school hours as well. So there's
Yes.
late afternoon and early evening
Exciting.
hours of, art activities, right?
It's going to be fun.
And with different types of settings. You can, you have your canvas. They do fabric. They do paper arts, painting. So different material that they use, different spaces. And so this is something exciting if you want your children to be involved in other types of hand, creativities,
There you
right?
go. There you
These are things that, and their minds, it's amazing. You give a child either just even a pencil, right? And they start sketching things. It's amazing with the kind of sketches that they come out with. But then once you give them colors, and whether it be watercolors or oil or even markers, color pencils, the things that they come with is just amazing.
It is.
I like to frame certain things,
So much creativity.
Yeah.
Really.
So, students, their minds just run and are amazing with what they can produce. So, it's something exciting. So if you want your child or your children, or do it as a family, family activity, go out there and get information from Art Space Guahan.
That's right.
And you can see they also have a website. It's their studio. It's studio at artspaceguahan.org.
That's right.
And you can see what other activities that they have coming up and how you can register through that, right? So, young minds bring a lot of creative,
They truly do.
Things. But so do the older people, right? And middle age. You have an art group that, that are affiliated with the Guam artists.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And they come up and have different activities. They get together and create spaces. A lot of our murals around the island are especially like our village murals. I think the latest one was in Jotnya, where they partnered with GTA and the village of Jotnya, and the artist actually right by Baza Gardens, how they have those entrance walls, and so the artist actually did both sides of the street. He created artwork that depicted events that happened in Jotnya. And so the same thing with the different village murals where they depict the activities that happen, or even just the history of what's happened in that particular village. And it's children, kids that come out and help. The artist actually has this idea. They get different sections and have the different partners throughout the village come out and take part in this. So, the creativity of our community together is just amazing. And sometimes even just molding things, right, is something. If you look at the different murals that we have, even in our
villages,
businesses, the villages, the stores. Have you seen that big mural over at Donkey?
Yes.
The one where the food court is at.
That's really nice.
Isn't that amazing?
That is really
I talked to the artist that did that, and he did that going into the bathroom area and the food court. Then you have Olive Garden across.
Looks great.
He had 1 week to do that.
1 week.
1 week.
Wow.
And it's just got so many things going on in
incredible.
that. But the flora and fauna of
on.
our island.
Okay.
The natural beauty of Guam,
so good. It looks so
yeah. So, you look at that and it's just amazing how it just like comes to life, right? When you're in the middle of it. And, we have the schools, you have some schools that have these murals outside of them, businesses. I drive down Marine Corps Drive, and there's several murals that really catch my eye, and I just love looking at them, where you have the girl with her hair blowing in the wind, kind of thing, and she's got beautiful eyes, but it's just what that cocoa bird outside.
Beautiful.
Is that Antigua Brewery?
I think so. Yes,
I love that.
That's library.
The library.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
the library.
With Nana reading the book, right?
Yes, that's got to be one of my favorites right there. Yeah, I think that's one of my
so
favorites
there's different murals, and it's different companies that sponsor the murals.
Yes.
So art is evident in everything that we do, whether it be through song or on paper or on canvas. I love going to the museum, or even some of these car shows, the auto showcase
For the
room,
car
right?
enthusiasts, yes,
I know
yes.
that Nissan used to do some exhibits
Okay.
in their showroom.
Right on.
Cars Plus, Cars Plus.
Yes, that's
also
right.
did
They
several
did.
exhibits in their showroom, and they show the talents, and it's it's like a fundraiser, right, for the different organizations, and you can bid on the pieces, right? I remember when one of the artists worked with some of the manamkus from the dementia center or even adult daycare. And what happened is it took her almost a year because of their attention, right?
Okay.
And so every time she went in every week, they did a small portion of the artwork. And by the time she got them all completed and then she framed them, she actually did an exhibit at Nissan in the showroom. And the families weren't really aware. So we were taking pictures of them and sending it to the families, and they were saying, wow, we didn't know our dad did that, right? And because sometimes he doesn't remember our name, right? but you know, it was something that took time to do, but you could tell that that it was an effort that was put into it, right? The patience, and we talk about having patience in doing things, and the patience of working with, especially the senior citizens or even young children, on because the attention span, they get easily distracted, right?
sure.
And so being patient to work with them in a time that they're ready to do something and just puts a creation together. Those things are what the final products are. What's really enlightening for us to see. It took time, and we know that they put a lot of work into it, into what they're doing, and they work with love, right? It's something that they love to do, and then they share the work of the products of their work. And so that's something that we look forward to, is seeing different creations that happen throughout the talents that we have here on Guam. So that's why we look forward to the opening of school too, is because once the students get into the classroom, there's so much activities and great things that happen in learning, right? So I'm excited for the school year. I'm excited for the different activities that happen, throughout our communities. Recently we have, we didn't have a parade, but we still had activities that where individuals or groups showcased their talents and skills throughout the summer. We just completed the Department of Youth Affairs summer youth employment, where the interns went out to different agencies and organizations, and they worked and learned skills. Some of them did beautification. The talents that happen in this summer intern program is amazing when the high school students participate in these programs, whether it be at a government agency. I know some that were also at the Guam legislature, working with the different senatorial offices. Many who were at the mayor's offices, right, in the villages. Some were with the Department of Public Health, other agencies, where they learned how to do things in the laboratory, right, or with the outreach programs, right. So those are great things that happen, where we take our take our students and teach them skills that are being performed within our government operations. And even as simple as, answering the telephones, right? This is telephone etiquette, and a customer service, where they learn how to interact with customers or clients coming in to the agencies to ask for help or seek assistance in getting information, right, on how they can expand things, whether for services in their agencies. So, we want to congratulate all of the summer interns who completed their time in the different organizations and agencies, and for a job well done. And then, we congratulate them and encourage them to do well in school, so that one day they can be really the person that's controlling, working in those facilities, right? And it expands their knowledge, right? So we are at the top of the hour.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll take one more quick break
That's
for
right.
news and thank our sponsors, and then come back and talk more about things that are happening on Guam.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Mayor. We are on the Wave 105 FM. Our studio lines are at 671-922-1051 or 1052. Good morning and welcome back.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. A vote in the full Senate is possible this week on President Trump's nominee for Attorney General, Acting AG Todd Blanche. 2 Republican senators wanted assurances an anti-weaponization fund that would benefit President Trump's allies is dead. North Carolina's Tom Tillis was one of the holdouts.
At the end of the day, don't act like you're standing on some sort of moral high ground if you start attacking this administration, because I can match you almost deed for deed. What I would like to see here is maybe people saying, look at it, instead of criticizing people on the other side of the aisle, why don't you go back and hold your own caucus and your conference to a higher standard?
Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin says Blanche serves the president and not the American people.
Instead of serving the American people and upholding the rule of law and the Constitution, Mr. Blanche has aided and abetted the most corrupt administration in the history of the United States.
The committee vote on Blanche was along party lines. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says a deal may be near either today or tomorrow to possibly open the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it would be freedom of movement, and even though things are still a little dicey there over the past few days, we've saw quite a few ships coming out.
He spoke to CNBC. Iran and Oman are meeting to discuss the strait. Michigan will offer the country its clearest gauge yet of the direction of the Democratic Party. Primary voters in the battleground state choose between a progressive standard bearer and an establishment-backed candidate for Senate. Chipotle Mexican Grill says it has removed jalapenos from some of its restaurants after determining the peppers could potentially be tied to a salmonella outbreak. Public health officials in Minnesota are investigating. Officials identified more than 100 cases in the state. Oil prices have dropped and stocks have soared at the closing bell. This is AP News. Extending the National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C. will not be cheap. Here's the AP's Sagar Magani.
A Pentagon estimate given to Congress for pushing the deployment into 2029 shows it will cost roughly $1.4 billion. The Guard first arrived here in Washington last summer as President Trump issued an emergency order he says was aimed at fighting crime. Just yesterday,
we have very little crime now. This was the crime capital, frankly, of the world.
But local officials have bashed the deployment as infringing on D.C.'s autonomy. Democrats say the president has militarized the capital's streets at taxpayer cost. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Buckingham Palace's Princess Eugenie, daughter of the former Prince Andrew, has given birth to a baby girl, her 3rd child and first daughter. Eugenie is the niece of King Charles. I'm Ed Donahue, AP News.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempen. The House Ethics Committee has started an investigation of domestic abuse allegations against Ohio Republican Max Miller.
That came after Miller said he asked for his own probe of allegations by ex-wife Emily Moreno, the daughter of Ohio GOP Senator Bernie Moreno. Miller is up for re-election, and Republicans trying to keep a slim majority worry the allegations could cost them a seat. Miller is a former Trump White House advisor with reporters yesterday.
I always thought he was a very good person, and I'm going to let the families figure that out.
A source says the president told Miller his candidacy does not look good. Miller says he has nothing to hide and wants to clear his name. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Iran and the Gulf state of Oman have made progress toward a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent spoke about it on CNBC.
I think there is a chance we may have a deal today or tomorrow to open the strait and move towards a more normalized position in this conflict.
2 regional officials told the Associated Press that under the emerging agreement, ships would enter the Persian Gulf through an Iranian-controlled route and exit through a route controlled by Oman. Federal officials say a man from El Salvador has died at a New Jersey immigration jail. The jail has been targeted for months by protesters over living conditions for people detained there. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement say the man had been held at Delaney Hall in Newark after being arrested in June. A record day on Wall Street as companies kept piling up profits and oil prices eased. The S&P 500 and the Dow set record highs. The Nasdaq jumped 2.6%. This is AP News. McDonald's had a strong second quarter.
McDonald's posted a strong profit in its second quarter and named a new chief of U.S. operations, Sky Anderson. With sales at home under pressure as many Americans are growing more cautious about spending, McDonald's says same-store sales or sales at locations open at least a year edged up 0.8% in the U.S. That's still a sharp slowdown from the 2.5% increase a year ago when the company had a big win with a meal tied to a Minecraft movie. Global same-store sales rose 1.3%. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
SpaceX reported it lost more than $500 million in its first quarterly report as a public company, but the loss was less than expected and revenue soared. The company run by Elon Musk reported $541 million in losses, that's 9 cents a share, in the 3 months through June. More news at apnews.com. I'm Mike Hempen, AP News.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, laundry, diapers, work, groceries. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone.
Sit tight, hon. I'll be right back.
But temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you. And every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a Canine Companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
Every 16 seconds, an American receives a cancer diagnosis, and every minute of every day, another person loses their life to cancer. That's why Stand Up to Cancer has set a bold goal to make early-stage detection an essential part of standard of care for all cancers. So often, if cancer is detected early, the chance of long-term survival is 90%. So if we all support cancer research, more than 2 million lives can be saved in the next decade. So join the mission and help save lives today at standuptocancer.org.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own vacuum. You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals and a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, the breakfast she didn't have, the rain that hasn't fallen in months, the danger around the next bend, her little brother's belly laugh, her mother's hug, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. All the reasons life is both so hard and so beautiful. It all connects. But so do we, for children's sakes. At Child Fund, we connect through everything we do, together, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
In a heartbeat, you could be the difference.
Mark collapsed from cardiac arrest.
9 out of 10 people who suffer cardiac arrest outside the hospital don't survive.
It took 30 minutes of chest compressions to finally feel a pulse.
Most of the time, it's because no one nearby performs CPR. But together, we can change that. Extraordinary things happen when people take action. A small step, a simple skill, a life-saving moment. HeartWalk brings communities together to create health and hope for every heartbeat. Every walker who joins HeartWalk, every dollar donated, means more people trained in CPR, more research, and more life-saving moments for everyone. Take the first step and register for your local HeartWalk. Extraordinary starts with you. Join HeartWalk today. Find your local HeartWalk at heartwalk.org.
We are all for first-time guests and longtime friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs. All for mountaintops and monuments. River bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the show hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the staff or management of Wave 105.1 FM, Glimpses Media, or our partners. We strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, and we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105.1 FM. Enjoy the show.
Where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and the vibe is always local. Wave 105, Glimpses Media.
Welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. This is Mornings with Patti, and this is Melissa Savares filling in for Patti this morning. We've been talking about a variety of things.
Exciting.
Back to school. Even, the students are coming back into the classroom.
Right. So are the vandalizers. Guys, watch your kids.
Yeah.
Watch your kids. Fan off festina
They don't realize how much work and money it goes into
so.
getting these schools ready. I don't think so. And then somebody comes in the middle of the night and vandalizes the school,
There's
the
always
campus.
one knucklehead. There's going to be one knucklehead.
I'll
to
tell you.
Spoil it for everyone,
If that's my child that does that, or even somebody in my family, their heads would be knuckled, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's real. That's
It's a Dalai and it's orientation morning, right?
Orientation morning.
And then they cancel orientation because they have to clean up the vandalism.
Right.
So it is
And there's so much to do here to occupy these guys' time,
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to do, and they just choose the
there's
other
so
route.
much to do. We should put them behind bars, right? Or make them go clean up what they messed up.
Go and clean, and do
s-
some
and
extra,
plus,
and
right? And
extra.
dig the hole
And,
for where we
extra,
would put them after they
extra.
clean up, right?
It's like, come on, guys, get it together, guys.
I'm
Get it
Bigatsun.
together. Come on, folks. Come on. Let's not ruin it now.
Right.
We got enough issues. We don't want you adding to our list of problems.
Yeah, poor kids at Finnegodson. We're ready for an orientation this morning.
Right.
Finnegodson Elementary. And then
Only to find out that,
the school was vandalized.
The school was vandalized. That is horrible. That is horrible.
So they had to cancel the orientation.
It was canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, right? And then, we're all trying to pass and get inspections done. And now you just delayed everything again. It's like, how can we win? Yes. So.
And the schools during the summer months, 2 months,
Yes.
the school staff, the teachers, the staff, they come and GDOE maintenance crew, right? They come and prepare the school campuses so it's fresh. Make those small repairs that need to get adjusted for inspection. And, they know the routine, right? And then when they're ready to bring the kids in, at least the families in for the orientation, they can't come in because some knucklehead
That's it.
came in the night before
Just spoiled it.
and just
ruin it for
trashed the
everyone.
place,
Just
right?
trashed the whole place.
So that's going to cost money to pick them up again and redo, redo the paint or whatever it was that was destroyed. Sometimes it's the equipment that they're using, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially equipment in the classrooms, right?
Yes.
So that's
Very
so
costly.
frustrating, yeah.
Extremely costly.
Yeah, and costly, right?
Very costly.
Because money doesn't grow on trees like they used to, right?
That's right.
But our community, we're resilient. I know that the faculty and staff of Finnegodson Elementary School, as soon as it's in, the police come in and do their thing, they pick up right away and say, okay, we're gonna not let this bring us down, right?
Right. A little extra work for the janitors and the maintenance.
Yeah.
It's like,
So, they thought they had it down packed and that,
they were
it's
ready.
an easy walk in for the students, but unfortunately that didn't happen for them this morning. So, we just, continue to pray that, things go well. But, there are, teachers that are, there's some positions that are still out there that are in need of filling. So if you have a skill and you're certified in teaching or, just I don't know if they're hiring substitutes, but, the positions are there. Just call DOE and find out the HR office and see what positions are still there. If you're a retired teacher and have the skills and still have mileage on you.
I still got the mileage.
Yeah. Some said, I would rather hang out at the food court at the mall, right, on Tuesdays and Fridays and mingle with my friends, right? or just go to a movie. You could do that after school because school gets out at 1:30, right?
That's right.
Or
That's
2:45. So, you still have time before the mall closes to do
Yes,
those
ma'am.
things.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Another, I was, reading a comment from a friend
Okay.
that, they, that they lost a teacher and somebody that was very instrumental in mentoring and molding the skills of the students, right? And so somebody is stepping out of retirement and filling that position so that she can mentor others who are just about ready to take over, at least for one school year. And so, it's teachers helping teachers because they know the importance of being in the classrooms and mentoring the students and not letting them give up. If you give them that support, students they feel encouraged and motivated when they have somebody that comes in and is in their classroom that motivates them to continue to learn. And most teachers do an excellent job, in doing this in their classrooms. I mean, you got to have a lot of talent, a lot of patience,
Most
patience, just the enthusiasm to mold the minds and continue to fill the minds and the skills that the students need to excel. And even the university is doing it, for that one class for if you're in public administration,
That's a
if
great
that's
one.
your field.
That's right.
The University of Guam
They do
has a
great job.
class.
Yeah, GCC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has a class to know how to work at the election.
They do.
Right?
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, those are extra, but you could, if you're not in public
Uh-huh.
administration, students across the campus can take it as an elective, and still part of that part of that class is to have them work the general election, right? Because not all the same precinct officials go on from the primary to the general, because the primary election is held on a Saturday. So most people are off on a Saturday and they work, so that's why they apply to work during the primary election. However, the general election in November 3rd is actually a work day.
Okay.
It's not a government holiday for federal or Gov Guam. It's a regular work day, so people don't take off from work to work the election. So those positions are vacant during the primary election. It's just a lot of patience also, because you're there at 5 a.m., 5 in the morning, so that at the polling site, the bus comes in, pulls in, and you are responsible for picking your precinct officials. Each precinct is responsible for taking those boxes out of the bus and taking it to their polling site in preparation for the voters to come in. So, it's a long day that you work, but, the pay is, you work, you can apply through the Election Commission to fill certain these positions. One of the things is that, there's a class there's a training that each precinct official goes through.
Okay.
And that's why that training is important, because they teach them the counting, how to be efficient in what they do at the precinct sites. And then it makes it a lot faster for them when they're clearing out at the end of the night. Of course, they take an oath to, protect and preserve, right, the process. And so this class is offered at the University of Guam. If you enroll in the class as part of for the semester, that fee, your tuition for that particular class, will be paid by the Guam Election Commission, and this is for this particular TA, University of Guam TA 308 course. Okay, and then students, so then there's other events that are coming up. Today is the last day for individuals interested in running for nonpartisan positions with the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. There are 3 seats available. And there's Attorney General. There's 1 seat available, and the Guam Education Board has 6 seats available. So the CCU and the AG's position. When you file your packet, you do not need signatures on a petition. But if you run for the Education Board, Guam Education Board, for any of the 6 seats, you do need 100 signatures of registered voters. So again, today is the last day to file if you are planning to run for any of these positions. Consolidated Commission on Utilities, Attorney General's position, and 6 seats for the Guam Education Board. They also have positions for homebound voters, individuals to go out to the homebounds. And homebounds are individuals who have struggles with mobility and or not able to get out of their homes. They can apply through the Guam Election Commission by calling the GEC office and apply for homebound voting. If you are homebound and you have a caregiver with you, the caregiver can also vote if they are registered during the homebound visit.
Gotcha.
So you would need both the caregiver's name, full name, and date of birth, and the location, and then also the name of the individual patient that is homebound. And as Maria had said earlier, there were individuals homebound voting that was done at the hospitals because of patients who are in the hospital that were not released. They're getting care at the hospital, and so they were, given the opportunity to also cast their votes. So that's also available. So you have your homebound, and then of course you have those that are absentee ballots that we have. They're either serving in the armed forces abroad, or students who are going to school, the university, college in the States or elsewhere, or even those who are out getting medical care. If you are, say, at St. Luke's, or at the medical city in the Philippines, or
the medical city,
the medical. Some patients go there, or even at the Asian hospital. If you are off island or even in the mainland, apply for absentee ballots. The ballot will be sent to you, and then you can vote, cast your vote, have it notarized, and then take it back and then mail it back. If it's mailed, the postmark date is before the election, then your ballot will be counted. It needs to be in. Okay, so that's the election process, and then we have the Department of Labor, who just graduated or certified through the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program.
Okay.
2 new participants, or 2 new apprentices.
Yes, ma'am.
That have completed their training. So, this is in line with also, things that happen at the Guam Trades Academy and the Guam Community College, where they're training skilled workers to go back into the workforce and make a difference, not only for that agency or that organization that they're with, but also for their families, right? Because now they're employed, they're earning decent salaries, and they can provide for the needs of their families. So it's a full circle, right? We're not depending on the government. We're not depending on other people to support us, because now we all have the skills, and we were given the opportunity to obtain the schools through the training programs that we have throughout our island. And so those are great things that are continuing to happen with our people. The Trades Academy always has different programs, different classes that start at different times throughout the year. So we encourage those who are maybe want to get trained in other types of skills. The construction force, right? They even have construction management. So those things are wide ranged. All you need to do is give the Guam Trades Academy a call to find out what classes are available soon, and register. It's a great program on available to our people. Okay, so anything else? Of course, we continue to emphasize and encourage our community to be mindful. School is starting next week. Or our children need to be safe. So if you have a school or a bus stop near you, step up and make a difference for the school children that will be going to school and walking by your neighborhood to get either to the school or to the bus stop, to and from. Then of course I see that there's training right now. We have youth football that's starting. I see them starting to practice as well. So usually at the beginning of the school year is when the outside league youth football starts. That will take us into the to the mid part of the right before the holidays, right, is when the season for championships usually happen. But tryouts for youth football is happening now, and we see that even in the schools, some like the basketball teams are already starting to practice outside before school even starts, because usually first quarter sports is also happens at the same time that school is starting. So we're looking forward to all these different activities that are going to be happening, not just in the schools but in the communities, that continue to be there for our families to participate in. And I always say families because school children always have their parents next to them to support them, and other siblings and aunties and uncles. Grandparents also follow through with with supporting all activities that happen throughout, whether it be in school or community events. So we want to congratulate all the families as a whole for all the efforts that they make to prepare, to raise their children, right? With good, full support. And, so that's what we're here as a community, is that we continue to provide mentorship, right, and support, whether it be just words of encouragement, right?
That's right. That's right.
Words of encouragement, So, I used to, when I was in office, I used to actually buy huge sheet cakes. And I have 9 public schools. I had 9 public schools in Dedido, and I would bring it out for like the teacher orientation, because all the teachers are together and the staff, and just to appreciate them, because we're starting a new school year. You're going to be taking care of our kids in the village, right? And I appreciate you. You just got to show them that we appreciate what you're doing for our families in the village. And so this is just a small token of our appreciation in taking care of our children. It takes an entire community to raise a child.
For real.
And so,
depending on your child, maybe the whole continent, but for now.
Yeah,
depending on your child,
Yeah.
because sometimes it may need a little more.
Yeah,
extra
so
work.
like what talk about sports,
Yes,
right? I mean,
for
this
sure.
summer mentioned that youth football is starting, because I see the kids at the different fields, right, already training. But during the summer months, in Dedido in particular, we have youth basketball, and so we have teams all the way from Malesot to Jigo that participate. But it's amazing that when during game time, the families that come out, and I mean, talk about big families, because you see where everybody, the kids get support from their parents, their grandparents, their ninus and ninas, and their uncles and aunties, and it's a family event when these games occur. And then the same thing with volleyball, and we see swimming. They're out there swimming together, training together, and just different. And pickleball, we saw a lot of pickleball events this weekend. These last couple of weeks with people tennis. We have big tennis, these tennis courts, in the different villages that you have a lot of tennis players out there playing all at the same time, but different age groups. So, it's the family during game time. It's really open because you have families all come out as a unit. Soccer time, no matter what the sport is, you have packs of families out there to support the events. So, we want to just congratulate our entire communities for being very resilient and supportive to all the activities that your children are doing, and even the adults, because you have adult games going on too. But it's the support that makes the support that you give the kids at a very young age means a lot, because it means really shows how successful this child is going to be, or the children are going to be in the long run. So we want to congratulate all of our families for continuing to support the efforts of the coaches and the managers of each of these sports groups, and also the reading programs that were happening in the libraries throughout the island. We want to congratulate the Navis Flores Memorial Library for their continued work in reading programs throughout the summer as well. The Lions Club was very instrumental also. The Guam Lions Club was also very instrumental in encouraging reading and doing reading activities on Saturday mornings at the Hagatna Library. Nice. So, we want to congratulate all of you out there for continuing to mentor young people in our communities and their families. Because without everybody working together, we would not have successful outcomes, right? So, that's, despite the little vandalisms here and there, right? We continue to provide support for all of the people, all of our families throughout the communities. Right on. Yeah. Right on. So, so I look forward to the opening of school. Of course, the excitement from the children, and the excitement of the parents and teachers, right, as they start the new school year. So we just want to recognize them. And then, of course, we have different activities over at the Teen Human Center. The Guam Museum also has awesome, displays.
Okay.
Have you been to the Guam Museum?
I love the Guam Museum.
I have. I really appreciate that permanent exhibit that they have on the second floor. It's really, truly Guam history. And, things, as we know, some artifacts have been returned from the Bishop Museum in Hawaii that's been there for for a long time, hundreds of years. That Bishop Museum kept things to preserve for when we have our museum ready to accept them. So, those some artifacts have been returned this past year. And so that's, the exciting thing is that they're coming home, right? And, we just want to thank the curators at both Bishop Museum and the Guam Museum, and the the Micronesian over at the University of Guam, the Mark Center, so for preserving our culture and our history in their inventory and in their facilities, because Guam history needs to be preserved but also shared with many, with the people that are living here and choose Guam to be their home. Okay. Other things that are coming up at the end of the month, we have the Haget Santa Rosa Fiesta.
Yes.
And that's going to be at the Sagambasita in Haget with a Fiesta Carnival and a car show. And at 5 o'clock on both days, August 28th and 29th, at 5 p.m., the part of the car show will be to do a burnout at 5 p.m. on each day. So burnout competition. So that's exciting. Just stay clear of the way so that actually clear out so that you don't. Of course, Mayor Kevin is always about safety, so he'll make sure that the coordinators for that are keep everybody behind lines and safe. So they'll have different vendors and different activities lined up for entertainment as well. This is always, it's in conjunction with the Mount Carmel Church together with the Haget Mayor's Office. So different things, fun things going on. This is part of the revenue generating for the Haget Mayor's Office as well, so that it can help with the different projects that they do in the village. Today we have coconut weaving over at coconut leaf weaving over at the T. Newman Visitor Center. And then we have the Art Space Guahan that is offering classes for art classes here in Tumaning. You can give them a call at 648-2787 to register for any of their upcoming events and programs. This week we are also celebrating National Community Health Center Week, and so there will be a proclamation signing for community health centers through the Department of Public Health on Friday, recognizing this week as being the National Community Health Center Week. And so we want to congratulate community health centers who focus on primary care for all residents, which is, and here on Guam we have the Northern Regional Health Center as well as the Southern Regional Health Center, which are located in Dedido and in Alahan, and they focus on primary health care for our community island, our island community. One thing that I want to bring up is that, we talk about the shortage of OBGYNs for pregnant women.
Okay.
And at the health center,
Right.
we actually have 2 providers that focus on, health care for women, especially pregnant women. So, if you're pregnant, you can't find a OBGYN to take care of you for your prenatal care, you can go to both either the Dedido Public Health, the Community Health Center, or the Southern Health Center in the mornings. Get your assessment, check in, get your assessment, and then once they, determine positive that you are pregnant and carrying the baby, they will make your appointment with the respective OBGYNs so that you have somebody to follow you through your entire 40 weeks of pregnancy, and so that you deliver a healthy baby. So we have both Dr. Billings and also Dr. Dolores Lee, who are available for pregnant women at both community health centers. So We do not have a shortage of OBGYNs. They are available at our community health centers that provide primary health care for all people on Guam. Okay, and so, we just want to recognize the Guam Community Health Centers and congratulate them on the year of the the week of the National Community Health Center celebration. And, with that, I mean, we talked about physicals and immunizations for children returning to school or starting school. There's no shortage of that either. There have been many outreaches and inreaches where clinics have opened up to do immunizations for school children as well as physical exams. So see the doctor and make sure that you're fit to go to school and start school. Many times they need additional, like a skin test, a TB skin test, and that one you need 48 hours after you do a reading on the skin test to determine if you're positive or negative for TB. So, school shopping, we talk about supplies that were given, the master's list for supplies that were given at the beginning of the summer, where families, throughout the summer can get things here and there in preparation for the school year. School uniforms, if your schools wear uniforms, all of the uniform stores are busy this last few weeks, helping families prepare for the new school year. And, so this is an exciting time. I look forward to the kids, the students going back to school. And so I'm sure that most families are as well. Summer is always nice because you get that break, but it's even nicer to go back to school and get back into the routine of things, so that you meet new friends, new classmates, right, coming in from different places or maybe another school. That way get to know them and see, get to know them. Where did they go to school last year? Where do they live? What grade I'm sure they're in the same grade as you, but, just get to know the families as well. Do they have other siblings in the school? That way, if they're lost, which sibling to go to, because kind of need help with that. But, those are things. And we have our guest, our host for the next show.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's going to be in soon.
Take a quick break.
Yeah,
here.
we'll take a break and then call them in, and we'll transition. I love this transition.
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah,
Here we go.
these
We'll come
Wednesday transitions. Thank you.
Anything's possible. I push to the limits. I climb every wall. I keep on believing. Anything's possible.
If there's one thing we've learned, it's never to underestimate the spirit and strength of the people of our island home. Which is why at Bank of Hawaii, you, your dreams, and your possibilities will always have a home. Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii. Member FDIC.
Ever dreamed of being on the radio? Now's your chance. Glimpses of Guam is looking for the next generation of on-air personalities to join our family on Wave 105. If you've got personality, creativity, and a passion for entertaining, we want to hear from you. No matter your experience level, this could be your opportunity to be heard across the airwaves. Send your resume and a short demo to jobs@glimpsesofguam.com and start your broadcasting journey today. Join the Glimpses of Guam radio team. Your voice belongs on the air on Wave 105.
Explore, snap, and share for a chance to win a round-trip ticket to Taiwan. Join the Guam Photo Hunt and visit iconic landmarks and hidden gems island-wide. The more locations you photograph, the more chances you have to win exciting prizes. Learn more and submit to win online at visitguam.com/photo hunt. Terms and conditions apply. Explore, snap, and rediscover Guam. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing says Biba mess tomorrow. Give your ride a glow up because even our cars deserve a little Island TLC this mess tomorrow. For all your tinting and service needs, call 647-SLAM. Biba mess tomorrow.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. No services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
We're looking beneath our feet today to uncover the surprising, shimmering engineering that built the foundation of America's historic coastal cities. Welcome to the National Day Spotlight for August 5th.
Long before the modern invention of industrial asphalt, the world's favorite shelled delicacy served as the foundational bedrock for early American infrastructure. During the 19th century, booming coastal hubs like Baltimore and New Orleans consumed millions of fresh oysters daily, generating massive mountainous piles of discarded shells. Instead of throwing them away, clever urban engineers crushed the heavy calcified armor into a cheap, durable aggregate to pave their public streets and sidewalks, transforming muddy waterfront alleyways into bright, white, shimmering street grids. The legendary seafood we enjoy on National Oyster Day literally paved America.
This is great. I mean, really.
I can
It's
see the city
lasting
engineers.
forever.
City engineers going, "Come on, people, eat more oysters.
Right.
We need to pave our roads."
Yeah, but what a great use for those shells.
It's a great thing. It's funny that we still don't do this today.
But, well, and obviously those last a lot longer than what we're doing now.
That's probably true. Every year,
Yeah.
construction season.
Yeah. We are also celebrating National Underwear Day and National Work Like a Dog Day. I'm Alice Anderson.
And I'm Arlo Anderson with National Day Calendar, reminding you to celebrate every day.
If you're looking for world-class website hosting at a fair price, Pair Networks is your best choice. Whether you're a professional web designer or a beginner just getting your site online, Pair Networks has a web hosting plan that's right for you. Log on and learn more at pair.com. That's PAIR.com. Pair Networks, world-class web hosting at a fair price. Visit us at pair.com. Pair Networks.
Registering a domain name on the web? You should know about Pairnic. Pairnic offers .com names at a great price with quality service you expect. Because Pairnic is powered by internet leader Pair Networks. Whether you need a domain name for business or personal use, Pairnic is your best choice. Remember Pairnic when you need a domain name. That's PAIRNIC.com. Pairnic.
Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. This is a transition time, mornings with Patti, and then we're going to roll into Vet Talk with Johnny Atulai and Auntie Bobby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I just said we like the transition, the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Because we're able to transition.
Yes, yes.
You've been
yes, and
listening
Patty
too much Randy Kaufman.
always catches up.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this on? Is this
yes,
on?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And that's true because Rand Kaufman transitions with Polly on Friday afternoons.
Yeah.
He does.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really nice.
Yeah,
It's really nice. It
I
makes you
ran
right
into
it.
Randy yesterday at in downtown, and he goes, "Johnny, you remember those days when we had this boat and we were doing this and that?" As soon as he started talking, I started laughing. Then I was looking around, going, "We don't have any transing."
Yeah, we've known
spirits
Randy
with us.
since the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah, we used to all hang out together in the 70s. So,
Wow.
What was the name of that club that was next to us in Tamuning?
Come on, girl. You're asking me hard questions. I don't remember if I took my pills this morning. But anyway, congratulations, Mama, to be a senator.
Thank you.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, he's got to work hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's everybody has to work hard
everybody
now.
Work even harder.
Yes,
you know?
much harder.
And I always say, 'cause I only endorsed him twice during this before the primary.
Well, we
and-
had him on the show.
Yes.
And he's a character.
Yeah.
He's so bubbly and full of knowledge,
Yeah.
And you can tell he's been politically affiliated to the community, to the
I
surroundings.
think he grew up in politics.
Actually, he was more involved in politics than before me.
Really?
During the 94 and 98, when Carl Gutierrez was running, my parents and my uncles were all out there for them and for Carl and
of
Madeline
course,
at the
right?
time.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, being that young punk
Are
that
you
he
a
is,
punk?
right?
Did you hear that, Johnny? Your mom called you a punk.
Yeah, he was involved. He was out there putting the signs up. Well, since Joe T's time,
Right, Yeah. right,
My
yeah.
parents supported Joe T.
Yeah.
And they were out there putting up signs.
Yeah.
And he was that punk out there helping my dad.
There it
But
is. That's twice.
Yeah. So, but and so this is what I told him. I said, you want to run, you really need, and if you have the passion to do it,
right?
You need to go out there and sell yourself to the people
And learn all the logistics from
Right.
putting up signs, washing
You got to
pot
do it by
pans
yourself.
after the gatherings.
Because you don't have staff to do
That's
it,
right,
right?
that's right. You don't have
and your
staff.
staff are used for other things, right?
Right.
But you, as a candidate, have to go out there and do it yourself.
You show by
then
example.
right. So I said, if I go out there with you, they're going to look at me and talk to me. I'm not the one running. You are.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
you go out there and sell yourself.
Well, we
Right,
wish him
yeah.
all the best in his endeavors,
Yes.
and if he
Yeah.
becomes accomplished, he will be a great addition to what we have in the existing legislature
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah, so he really wants to, he wants to work introduce municipal laws, right? And somebody says, well, why don't you run for Senate, mayor? And of course,
there you go.
Yeah, of course, at that level, you can't do policies, right?
Right.
At the mayor's level. And he says, I'm not just going to, at the mayor's office, you just work on your own
Right.
village. But he
Right.
says he wants to be legislative
Yeah.
and help all the mayors. So,
Yes.
and I
Right.
said, okay, just remember that when you get in.
Well,
right?
growing up, you made a good example of what he wants to
Yeah.
follow as far as leadership's concerned, because your village under your tenure.
Yeah, and
is
you have
very
a big village.
yeah. So,
Very
yeah,
perspective.
yeah. So it's challenging, but
Yes.
of course they're all diverse, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We all have different needs.
Yes.
I have different needs in the north, just like Louise and I, and Jigo.
Yeah.
Different population compared to what they have in the
Yes.
south.
Yeah.
Do you notice a difference in diversity in the population as far as Koreans, Filipinos, Chukis, Guamanians?
To me, as a mayor, they're all the same.
Yeah,
right?
they're all the same.
They're all the same, and their needs. If you look at them,
Oh, yeah.
they all depends. The diversity is their age.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not
okay.
their nationality.
Right.
It's their age. Each age
Has a
really
different
had
need.
different need.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
And they're
Yeah.
very, very colorful. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
when you put them all together, boy, it's like I don't know what to say.
Visit the Dedido Senior Center.
Uh-huh.
You'll see Koreans, Chukis, Filipinos, and very few Chamorros.
Right.
Versus if you go to Estumbo,
Uh-huh.
you'll see more Chamorros,
Right.
Chukis, few Filipinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
you
that
ever
tells
been?
you what your population's made of.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Diversity,
It's
diversity.
the
Have you-
biggest village on the island.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been down to Guma Tranquilidad?
Yes.
I mean, most of the tenants
Yeah.
down there are Koreans.
Koreans, right.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Koreans
Yeah.
and Filipinos. I mean,
Right.
you have a few Chamorros in there, but most of them, it's a diverse,
Yeah.
nationality.
It's a international.
yeah.
facility,
And some
yeah.
of them have been there for decades.
Yes. 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
As long as it's been up.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I remember several people that passed away recently. They're in their 90s, but they were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
So you
It's-
imagine
it's
the school
interesting.
system, the hospital,
yeah.
public health, all these people, they have to understand these different ethnic backgrounds,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's where translation comes into place.
Right.
Right? Not just at the courts that they need translators.
Right.
And translation is not just language, it's signing.
Yeah.
Sign language is needed too.
Yeah.
Because when they're in the schools, you see sign language is needed in the schools because you have students who are deaf and mute, right?
Yeah.
You have students, and it's the same way at the clinics.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the clinics don't have a sign language interpreter,
Right.
but they don't also have a Korean interpreter. Most of clinics have Filipino, Tagalog interpreters,
yeah.
but not Korean and not Chukis.
Right.
Well, that's why we encourage them. If you have a deliberating parent that needs translation, bring
a child with
Bring
you.
a child with you. Even
Right.
No matter how small, they can
Yeah,
tell
no,
you what's
and
wrong.
actually, that's what's happening. Is the adult, like the Chukis, right? They bring their school-age grandson or child with them, so that they can translate. Yeah.
Okay, you're on our time now, Miss Savares. You're just like Johnny, man. You're so full of energy.
He does that to Patty all the time. You're
So we're at the top of the hour, and I'm now in their hour.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
It's
ma'am.
gonna charge me.
I know. It is.
Okay, thank you for listening, everyone.
Yes,
I
indeed.
enjoyed the day, and thanks for Patty to Patty for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah.
Have a
you,
great
guys.
day, Guam.
Viva Guam.
Hey, isn't it?